And we're live with the Roundabout Cast discussing more Whole Cake Island.
Yay!
Yay.
I'm joined here with the two greatest pirates known to man,
I don't know. That's some pretty great pirates.
Bradley Barbosa
I'll take
and
it.
Joe the Jiggly One.
I don't like ever said that.
Joe
I like
the
that.
Jobber.
There we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like
I'll
that.
be a topper.
But he's like a boogie style pirate where like he still is part of the plot, all things considered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's important.
Yeah.
Give him another 100 chapters or so.
Bradley has a good arc, as well. Bradley, how far are you with the arc, by the way? Because I think everything we're covering today, you've definitely read, but you're a little past that.
Yeah, just for the reference for everybody, including you guys, where I'm at right now, we are ramping up for like what I feel like is the final fight. Where I'm at, basically, Luffy escaped Katakuri's, or not Katakuri's mirror dimension, Brulee's mirror dimension, but he was fighting Katakuri. So the fight hasn't fully concluded yet. Luffy has to recharge, but everybody in the arc is on their way to the same island.
Luffy is recharging. Got it. Okay.
Gotcha.
Luffy's recharging. They're all on their way to like Cocoa Island. And I don't know. I feel like we're really gearing up for like
The final confrontation.
the final battle.
All right.
That's when the good shit starts.
Yeah. Oh, it starts at the end of the arc. Very good.
Willard, can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Wait.
Yeah?
Wait. We're
Wait.
pausing this. We're good. Okay, if there was an echo there at the start, there is one no longer. All right, let's get into it then.
Get into
So, where we left off, Sanji and Luffy made up, which, when these guys find out that they weren't fighting anymore, they get very happy, which leads to very cute scenes where they call Luffy a dummy and a dum-dum. And
Yeah.
the crew is back together now, but we still have things to resolve, such as the assassination plot that's going down. And
Yeah, and I thought Luffy and Sanji was gonna play out a little bit more like Usopp and Luffy, where it's like we kind of had to go through like all of Water 7 and Eni's lobby before I think they fully like welcome back. But we don't want to do the same arc all over again, and it makes sense. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I was just surprised as all.
And so we start learning a little bit about Beige and how he kind of usurped all the underworlds in, like, I think he's from the West Blue. It's somewhere on this page. But whatever blue he was originally in, he was the gangster there who took down a bunch of heads of families and just watched the families writhe in pain as they try to recover. And eventually started his pirate crew. And Jimbei says that we should team up with Beige, who is planning to take Big Mom's head. Which is
Dude,
Pretty
fucking,
hype.
I think Beige is really cool.
oh yeah, yeah, he's gonna do some really cool stuff. He was all like, it's interesting because I've been kind of going through some of the Reddit threads of some of these chapters of like the highlight ones, and I see so much of like, wow, I really didn't like Beige at all when he was first introduced, or I thought he wouldn't be interesting, and now he's one of my favorites. And I'm over here like, from the get-go, I thought he looked the coolest. I thought he had the coolest fruit. I was most excited to see him.
And also, like, I think one thing with the worst generation that a lot of them have in common, like Luffy and Beige and Law, they each kind of have some objective or plan that everybody else in the setting is like, you're fucking crazy. Why would you even think to do that?
That's
But
true.
they're the worst generation, and they're gonna do it.
That's a good point. We actually saw not too long ago that about 3 or 4 of them were teaming up and fighting Kaido, and we don't really know how that turned out, but I imagine it didn't turn out good. And we also found out that several of them have come to Whole Cake Island, and I don't think it was even Cracker. I think like Snack repelled them all. So like, they couldn't even get to the top tiers of the Big Mom operation before they got booted off the island. So yeah, they're out here like headhunting these Yonkos and doing crazy things, which begs the question: what is Jewelry Bonnie up to? Because we never see that girl.
Yeah, what the? Wait, yeah. So the last time we saw her, she got taken by the Marines.
As I recall, she was being chased down by Blackbeard right as the
She was
time.
being chased by Blackbeard.
Yeah,
right?
and then Akainu dropped a line where it's like, that girl terrifies me. It's like,
That's it.
what about her? You know, like, we still have no idea as to where we are. Where we're
She's
talking
actually
about today.
Gold Roger, dude.
Yo.
Oh my god.
So yeah, were you surprised that Beige was like trying to turn on Big Mom?
Man, I shouldn't be surprised.
I said
Because,
turn on Big Mom.
you know, I just could. I'm not gonna. Okay, a lot of the people in the worst generation, we don't know their like final goals or aspirations. I just assumed for most or all of them, their final goal was to be king of the pirates. Either way, I couldn't really see any of the worst generation truly being subordinate to anyone. Like even in some of the groups of the worst generation that worked together, like some of them teamed up with like
Yeah.
what's
Like,
his name? Useless Kid.
Apu, Kid, Hawkins, and someone
Yeah.
else maybe had an alliance
Like-
there for a little bit.
Even though it's not stated, I just kind of assume in the back of their head they're all planning how to fuck the other ones over once it seems like they can achieve their goal.
True. So
Doesn't Law or Nami have something back in Punk Hazard saying something like that?
well, in Punk Hazard, when Law started teaming up with them, they're like, Luffy, he's just gonna betray us. Why do you trust him so much? And Luffy's like, are you gonna betray me? And Law says no, and Luffy says, okay, I believe him. But we all know Luffy's manipulating everyone emotionally and mentally, so it's all part of his grand scheme. But you're onto something where, like, these pirate alliances, I mean, they're pirates at the end of the day. Like, part of being a pirate in One Piece is you're a free spirit who does whatever you want, you know, be it good or bad, so. Here we actually get the explanation of why Lola is so hated in the family. She was going to marry Loki, who fell in love with her. And
Yeah.
I think this is pretty interesting given Big Mom's backstory that we get later, and we might circle back around to it, that a giant would ever fall in love with a daughter of Big Mom. And it seems like the giants here are celebrating that fact, so it feels like it'd be very taboo in their culture to
Yeah.
try to have any sort of relationship with Big Mom. But we
Did you
don't.
like this exposition scene, Bradley?
What?
This is the exposition scene where it's just Karen and Nami in the bathtub, and they
Yeah, I was gonna comment on that.
What's your comment? There we go.
Great.
Yeah,
I love it.
I think I grabbed this
We should do
page
more.
just to be like, yeah, we're just doing this in the bathtub.
Man, I think like there's been more fan service than normal lately.
You think so? I mean, we had a
What happens
moment.
when Nami leaves for the longest arc.
Yeah, Nami's been well dressed for a lot of this arc. I will say this is just balancing out the horniness.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
And like Oda's like, you guys are having to look at Big Mom too much. Let me ease it up a little bit.
Going back to that panel though, for
Yes.
something that's actually important.
Yes.
Oh, it's not what's
Chiffon.
Lola's sister's name?
Chiffon.
Chiffon says, now I don't even think that monster as my parent.
Yeah, I'm glad that you stopped me because she would beat and abuse me for years and years. The scars were constant. Like, so Big Mom, she seems like some children she dotes on, some children she's like neutral on. Like, she clearly knows all her kids. We saw that panel of her like walking around and be like, "Oh, now kids, don't kill each other" or whatever. But there's some children which she would just completely abuse, and we find
yeah.
out later that like Pudding did not have the nicest relationship with Big Mom either, despite being so important to her operation. So
Chiffon's only getting beaten up because she looks like Lola.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
yeah,
too.
she's not even Lola. She just is her twin. So
Yeah.
oh man, oh, one of the greatest gags in One Piece. They just how are they gonna get Luffy's teeth back? And they just drink milk.
Yeah, and it's funny because I feel like it's one of those things that happens in shonen. Like, I don't know, like the people's bodies just get fucked up. And you're like, oh, how does it get better? And I don't know. Oda plays it off as a joke, and it is a joke, but it's a great joke.
Yeah,
Well, were there any comments suggesting that Luffy's was gonna have that tooth gone for the rest of the series?
yeah. No, there were comments about that, and most people said as soon as Luffy eats the bento box from Sanji, his teeth are going to be fixed. And it didn't happen. And then Oda just maybe this is a reaction to that where Oda's like, shit, I forgot to fix the teeth thing, so let me make it into a gag. It could be. I also like how Luffy's like, "What are you tired for? Like, we haven't even started the fight." Like, oblivious to the fact that Brook fought Big Mom before anyone else. It's pretty good. Yo, this is a hot panel. Another funny thing from old comments. First of all, this is just everyone looks really cool here with these suits and like it just abnormally badass scene for because Luffy's at the head and Beige is at the head and it's like Luffy's wearing a hat on top of his head and he looks so different from the usual Luffy look, which I love. But everyone's like, or some people are like, man, is that guy on the side Caesar? And they're like, no, that's stupid. Where is his horns? And they're like, no, but it kind of looks like Caesar. And then the next chapter comes out and, you know, people eat their words or are elated to find out that they're correct. I will also note, Brook looks fantastic here, and I like Jinbei's skull. Like, this is my favorite Jinbei look with the skull Hakama, or whatever that is. And this incredible page introduces us to Gangster Gastino. What do you think of this new character?
Dude, this was... I think I actually messaged you guys about this when I got here, that I just love that... I don't know, Oda just is making fun of how obvious it is by just, like, putting the name in front of his actual name.
It's fantastic. And he's doing the laugh, and Luffy's like, I can tell who you are, and then and then he, like, fakes it, and then Luffy has to, like, rediscover it. It's just a really funny scene. And they shit on Caesar this entire arc as he's actively saving their lives. The fact Caesar's played for so much comedy is something I don't think anyone could expect, but Oda always keeps us on our toes. This is just a cute scene because Beige has a lot of moments where he shows how much of a loving family man he actually is, despite being kind of a scumbag criminal. And, like, him doting on his son is very cute. And the fact his son has stubble, which is an SBS question later that Oda just dodges.
Dude, I fucking love... that I think that's... It's not what made me like Beige more, but I think seeing those moments is, like, kind of what elevated him just a little bit further for me. I don't know. It makes me... I can just identify with him a little bit more, this mob boss, whenever like I see him doting on his wife or his child.
It's respectful, like, it's cool that he's been a villain up to this point in this arc, you know, he's working for Big Mom, he killed, quote-unquote, Peckhams, and has just been he completely outsmarted them in Zao, where he did that thing where it's like, well, we're gonna shoot in the air with sea-stone bullets, Caesar, so show the fuck up, and he's like, well, we didn't actually have bullets, but we do have a spear.
Yeah. He's
been a good antagonist for us, but now like we're seeing more layers to him.
Yeah, and like I don't know, it gives me an in. Like I know that there is something in the world he cares about. He's not just like a fucking dick, you know?
Yeah. And then like he goes from baby talk, but like we've been under Mama's umbrella.
I love it.
And this is introducing the fact that Big Mom is basically indestructible, and this entire section of the arc is kind of how are we going to be able to assassinate Big Mom when her defense stat is maxed out. And
yeah.
They do have some good ideas, but in maybe the most tragic ways, they just blow up in their faces.
Oh, yeah.
We also get introduced to the Mother Caramel picture, which is given no context aside from the fact that Big Mom has a lot of respect for it, but we'll find out exactly why later. This is a good cover page, so I had to grab it.
That's one of my favorites.
What's extra good about this cover page is that we know Crocodile hates water and is his weakness, but he will sacrifice it for this pug. Oh,
what a guy.
What a guy as guy. He nukes a city. What a great guy.
What a guy.
So I've seen a recent theory that we know Crocodile's doing something now that he's free, but we haven't seen him do anything. So there's a theory that he is the final captain of Blackbeard's crew, because I think there's like 10 captains, but we only know 9 of Blackbeard's crewmates.
I think Blackbeard is really cool.
Oh yeah,
I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah, that's a hot take. This is Jinbei kind of ironing out how he was able to escape Big Mom earlier by not showing fear or realizing that like this wheel wasn't just gonna be impactful to me, it was going to impact my crew. So I just said I'm not even going to play that game, which I found pretty surprising because you could easily write Jinbei as the character who's like, I'm so honorable that I will do this stupid wheel thing, despite the fact that it's obviously rigged against my entire crew.
Yeah.
But like Jinbei's still a criminal pirate. He's like, I'm gonna be honorable to a fault. Like there's a limit to how much you can push my honor.
He's being smart. He's just like, well, hold on.
Yeah. I
Let's
also
be reasonable here.
in the list of side One Piece characters that I like a lot, I like Aladdin quite a bit, but also, and I forget her name, this Fishman Big Mom daughter is a really cool little minor character to me.
Yeah.
Does anyone remember her name?
No, but she does. Like, this isn't the last time she appears. She definitely shows up
No.
later.
She's got a great design. She's a hammerhead
Yeah.
shark, and I like her.
Pauline.
Pauline?
Brawling.
Pauline, that's right, yeah.
Ah.
We get introduced to these characters that basically just function to expand the One Piece underworld. However, there are two notable ones in this arc, and one is, of course, one of the greatest characters. Speaking of great small characters, Big News Morgan is the fucking goat. Everyone loves this
Aw.
fucker.
He's so cool.
It's Big Bird. How could you not?
I
So-
know.
So this is not a mink, by the way. This is a dude with a fruit who always stays in fruit form, which is very weird. And he runs the newspaper syndicate, which what's cool about that is throughout the series, we've seen seagulls deliver the papers, right? And we find out that he's behind this whole seagull operation, and he's also a bird, so that's kind of neat, makes sense. And then there's Stussy, who, as we find out later,
Oh.
is a member of CP0 and has a cool design.
Yeah, dude. I wasn't expecting that one.
Now, that being said, these other guys don't do as much this arc, but I wouldn't put past Oda for these guys to come back. People like... this guy just hides bodies in a warehouse, so I don't know about him. But maybe the shipping guy or Major... Would Major Undertaker imply that this is like a professional assassin? Yeah, he's got a scythe. So maybe this guy I could see showing up later. And then a loan shark. The loan shark has a bit of a scene later on as well with the tomate box.
Yeah. Dude,
As-
what a fucking panel. That looks awesome.
Beautiful. As the wedding's kicking off, like Paris Sparrows is putting on a show, and I'm going to talk about Paris Sparrows a lot because that is we just talked about characters like minor characters I like. I wouldn't even say he's minor. He, in some ways, Paris Sparrows is the antagonist of this arc. I don't know if that that's not an argument I can make very strongly, but it's also not an argument you can fully dispute.
That's the thing, right? Because Big Mom is the force of she is the strength and force of her side, but it's very clear that not even just in this arc, but kind of regularly, the inhabitants of this country kind of have to play around her
Yeah.
tendencies and control her rage and stuff like that. And this entire arc, not this entire arc, but for a lot of this arc, Big Mom isn't actually very conscious of her actions.
Yeah.
She's just kind of being guided.
Exactly. So like Big Mom is the antagonist for like up to this point, and then at the maybe later in the arc. But from the wedding, like from the moment that the Mother Caramel picture gets broken, I would say like it's the Paris Sparrows Katakuri show, which is
Yeah.
very interesting. What's also nice is the page after this, Paris Sparrows melts the candy so the kids can eat, and I think that's just like a small moment of kindness, which I think is really appreciable because he's the oldest son, so he is many times an older brother, and while he is a conniving, evil pirate son of a bitch, he's also like, well, I'm not gonna not take care of the kids that live on the island. Like, I still
Yeah.
like my home. So I think that's cute. Oh yeah, no, yeah, he just gives out candy as well to the kids, and then he's like, yeah, you can lick the coaster after everyone's gone. He also threatens later on to eat people, but we'll get there when we get there.
Oh yeah,
Ah!
man.
I'm fangirling.
This guy right here, I got
This
introduced to
fucking
him,
guy.
and like, he looks cool off the bat. I already liked him, and the thing is, he got hyped the shit up by you guys because for good reasons. Because like he's awesome. He's like the most fun character to play in Pirate Warriors 4. Even in the story, he's just badass. One of the coolest fights. And I was like, damn, is he going to be like that big of a deal? And you know what? Every single chapter he's been in has been better than the last. He's so
He's the
cool.
billion berry
The
man.
He's
billion
fucking
bear.
rad.
I want to point out his bounty: 1,057,000,000. That might seem like a little random number, but Oda loves his numerology, and we've talked about how the Straw Hat fruits have numbers assigned to them based on how you can pronounce it. Luffy's is 5-6, so in a lot of cover arts, you'll see Luffy with the numbers 5-6, or you'll see the number 5-6 related to Luffy. 1,057,000,000 is a early hint that this is Luffy plus one. He's the Luffy plus plus,
Oh my god.
which is just like Oda set this up a couple of chapters in advance for when we finally get to like what that actually means.
Yeah.
We're also introduced to the fact that his observation hockey can see into the future, which the way it's implemented in the story, I think is so cool. There's so many pages where Katakuri's talking and it doesn't make sense until you reread the chapter because you realize he was talking to the future. And
You
that's,
might have grabbed the panel. There's one where he's talking about Jinbei at one point, and
Yeah.
then Jinbei says a thing.
yeah, I definitely grabbed that one. And yeah, this is my favorite One Piece character, so I have a lot to say. But a lot of that will come next talk, so we won't be bogged down. But a fun thing about Katakuri is the fan base agrees with you and me, and maybe even Joe, that like he just gets better and better in this arc because like he's such a fan favorite from the moment he's introduced, and every chapter is just like. There's a meme that started around this time, which I had no idea about, called Green Text Katakuri, where it always starts with "Be me, Katakuri, lowly son of the Charlotte family," and then it just goes on and on of like how things are falling apart around him, and he's trying to keep it all together, and mom
God.
doesn't show him respect, and brother's arm is blown off, and it's I don't know why this meme came about, but it's a pretty cute meme.
Yeah.
We get more smoothie action, and the fact that she's ringing out people and people are just weirdly drinking it, no problem.
Yeah, God, what a horrible fruit.
I think I had a theory last time we talked that like the juice you produce is not like your body liquids, but like a unique juice per person, and I'm just gonna believe that because it's less fucked up.
You don't know nothing about the juice I produce.
Screaming giraffe.
That might be the same joke you made last time.
Maybe.
I just like the weird screaming giraffe is fun. And we get the Mother Caramel picture, which is a funny picture to begin with. This is a character with a lot of personality right off the bat. And as soon as someone asks, like Big Mom just like focus conquer hockeys them, which is pretty badass. Just like single target conquer hockey, just don't even ask. And she looks very scary here.
Oh, Willer.
Yes. Joe.
And like I have like the full chapter pulled up, but like in like the page where these two pictures are at, there's a dude that's carrying the picture. How nervous do you think that guy is?
Oh my god. It's mentioned that someone bumped into the picture or dropped it, and Big Mom either killed him or absorbed all his life or something earlier on. So
Could you imagine like, all right, Frank, it's your turn to carry the picture to the part. Like,
shitting bricks in the world of One Piece where you could be a gag character at any moment. Couldn't be me. There's this door that was listening to Beige like talk about the plan, and the door's like, wait, is Beige gonna betray us? What's gonna an assassination? And then they just fucking murk the door. It's kind of fucked up. They just cut off its face. But that's a mob boss for you. This begins putting Tsundere arc, which is such a funny fucking gag to me. Like, I do not tire of this pudding, like, not being sure how she feels about Sanji and having the mean side and the nice side. I don't know about y'all.
It's weird. I went through a phase where I was like, this is cute, and then I was like, okay, this is kind of getting old and annoying, and then where I'm at, I'm like, nah, it's just cute.
I went through a phase with Pudding where it's just like, oh, I love her. I fucking hate her. Oh.
I know.
Pudding is a top tier One Piece character, but that's a story for another day. Look how happy these fuckers look.
Yeah.
Man, this guy's selling it. What an actor.
I know.
Oh my, like, Beige has no idea how much of a fucking idiot Sanji actually is. So he's just like, this guy's a legend.
God, I love that face.
The Red Wedding. A lot of fun things here. long neck people, which is cool. Long leg people in the crew. I didn't even realize that Smoothie was a long leg. I thought she just had long legs. Like
Y'all know what I'm
Katakuri.
thinking with the long neck people.
I don't want to know. And I just love this carrot drawing of Chiffon and Lola looking. I don't even know how to describe that face, but it's delightful. So the wedding's finally kicking off, and it's time for the assassination. And Pudding shows her eyes, and Sanji reacts with a "What a beautiful eye." I don't know if I'm surprised by Sanji simping, but I guess I'm surprised more by the reaction that comes from this, where
Yeah.
Sanji's just genuine like affection for Pudding is actually what kind of saves the situation a bit in the end as she starts kind of falling for him. And we learn later that like Pudding grew up with a lot of insecurities about this eye. And actually a lot of being yourself and insecurity themes in this arc, because we had that with Sanji, we have that with Pudding, and we'll have that with a character later on as well. And yeah, here we get like she was teased and like Big Mom even called her creepy, and that's kind of what created her sadistic side where she'll be mean to you to make sure that you can't laugh at her, which I feel like is a pretty like sympathetic backstory. Like I can definitely empathize with that.
Yeah. And man, how does Oda just like do flashbacks that are half a page or less and have me go like, oh my god, that was such a good backstory?
Yeah, this is like a 1.5 page flashback. It explained a lot about the character without wasting
Yeah.
too much time. So I thought that was pretty nice. And she's crying as she tells him she's gonna kill him, which is just emblematic of their entire relationship for the rest of this arc. What's cool here is Katakuri does one of his jelly bean shots, which is just a cool attack anyways. Sanji, known observation hockey user, is able to dodge it, which is pretty impressive. It's like
Yeah.
a little battle of observation hockeys.
Yeah, I mean, Katakuri was doing that because he saw that he would dodge the priest's attack.
Yeah, and then like this is really important to understand about Katakuri. Like seeing the future is just the path that's gonna happen, but it can be changed by other people's observation hockeys, or it just because he can predict it and see it doesn't mean he can stop it, which is really important for how the fight is gonna function between him and Luffy later. And also, a lot of the escape plan revolves around like this kind of flaw in the prediction powers. Which, while we're at it, Bradley, what do you feel about this advanced not advanced observation hockey? Because this is something that's kind of new to the series, but also I feel like makes sense as a extrapolation of observation hockey.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't seem out of place for me, and I just thought it was cool.
Yeah,
You know what? I kind of liked it because observation hockey, I feel like so far in the story hasn't got its. I feel like all the other types of hockey got their time to shine already. Because, for example, I feel like armament hockey, it was very apparent how useful it was after the Paramount War. Once we start learning more about hockey, because it's like, oh my god, all those Logias, like armament hockey would have been so good.
yeah, like all the mid to high tiers, like everyone's just always using armament hockey. It's almost mandatory to be at the high level.
And then shortly after we learned like about the different types of hockey, wasn't there that one bad guy who like his thing was like he has like the best like defense hockey ever that he has it on all the time?
There was Pika in Dressrosa and also Virgo. They both do like the full body armament that makes them very hard.
Full armament hockey, which has never worked out for anybody.
Yeah. Well, maybe later it works out for someone. But yeah, so far everyone who goes full body armament gets bodied. To me, observation's always been the coolest because at a base level, it's like you can kind of feel an attack coming. You can like get a premonition that you should be. It's like a spider sense at a base level, and you can kind of feel people's presences even though you can't physically see them, which Usopp showed. But future, like just straight up future sight, I think is such a cool implementation of it, and man, it goes places as the arc keeps going as well. That's a story for another day. So the big plan is we're gonna spawn a bunch of fucking Luffys and they're gonna cause chaos and break the picture.
Nice.
Which is fantastic. The fact that these are all wild animals, and there's like clearly the real Luffy here in the middle taking a bite. Somewhere in one of these panels, you can see Brook ahead of time, which I think is cute because cool stuff is happening. And here's the panel you were saying, Joe, with Katakuri being like, "Don't explain my powers ahead of time."
Yeah.
Also, T current shoulder throw, very cool move. Damn it, I keep losing. And yeah, so here is Jinbei explaining Katakuri's power. I actually think, if I'm not mistaken, the volume translation and like Oda changed the dialogue here in the volume release from what I've heard. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone who knows. He added in the special Paramethea part. It was just described as a Paramethea, I think, at first. So the reason is this functions like a Logia, but it's not a natural resource, so it's not a Logia.
Yeah.
So, and also, like, Katakuri is not actually using, like, the Logia auto defense. He's using observation haki to turn himself into Mochi and dodge every attack. Which is also kind of one of his flaws, is, like, technically you can still hit him, but the thing is you wouldn't be fast or smart enough to do it, given his observation haki.
A high dodge stat because he trained it so high.
So the closest fruit I could relate this to is, I think, the wax fruit from Mr. 3.
Yeah, the wax. Yeah.
But Mr. 3 can't turn into wax, which I think, and like also Magellan can't turn into wax. They just have immunities. I guess.
Magellan turns the poison. Well, he coats himself.
Yeah, he coats himself in poison. So it's like, that's where the special part comes in, really, is that you can also turn into that element. So it's kind of like Luffy meets Mr. 3, because he can produce the quote-unquote rubber, but he's also rubber, and with this sense with Mochi. So, cool fruit. Jinbei drops one of the most fire lines in One Piece here.
Oh.
A man who would be crewmate of the future king of the pirates cannot afford to tremble in the presence of a mere emperor. And this drives Big Mom insane. And then he fucking quits. And everyone's like, "You're so cool."
Like, who has ever said some shit like that to an emperor?
Dude. This is, in the One Piece gacha, this is one of, there's a Legend Jinbei that has this art, and you can see, like, Big Mom's, like, leg and foot as well. Like, it's this exact scene, which is really cool.
The biggest brass balls ever created.
That's why he was so late getting here. He has to carry his...
Yeah, he had to carry that shit around.
But yeah, man, I love Jinbei. He's the fucking GOAT. And it's nice because this arc is kind of the proof to anyone who's like, I don't know if Jinbei's gonna work into the crew dynamic. He has a fantastic spot in the crew dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. This fucking page is so fucking funny.
It was fucking hilarious, and, like, Brook was already the GOAT in this arc.
He's already the MVP, but he's like, no, I got more left in me. Just the fact that, like, you wouldn't know it's Brook, but then he's like, yo! Like, he just has a little chuckle to himself as he does it.
Yeah.
The deadpan Luffy face is, yeah, like, Brook breaking this picture is one of the funniest gags. I gotta make sure to include this into the video because it's really good. And then, like, when we get to the next chapter, they linger on his face, shadowed out, like, what'd I do? And then he tears off the mask, and it was like, oh my god, he ripped off his face. He's like, no, this is just my face.
Soul King.
Big Mom thinking Brook is dead is kind of, like, sad when you realize that she's kind of naive and might not realize when people are dead when they could be dead in the past, so...
Yeah.
I grabbed this panel of Katakuri saying, oh, damn it, because that's just kind of this portion of the arc in general, which...
And man, if a guy who can see into the future says, damn it, it's a bad sign.
I think in particular, this is him seeing, I don't think it's the explosion yet, I think it's the Big Mom freak out.
Yeah.
That is about to come. So, this arc is really split up into, I would say, 5 acts. You got the beginning and the seducing woods. You got the Germa, Sanji, Luffy conflict kind of going on. Then I would say you have this part, which is the wedding. And I will say, despite this being, like, full disclosure, my favorite arc, I forget how good this part is because I don't know. I don't know if you got the sense, but every chapter of this wedding is just better and better, and like
Oh yeah.
shit is just moving, and every chapter has some fun new thing. Very good time. Like it must have been really fun to read this part weekly, which even I didn't.
Also, like, I like compared to Dressrosa, where like Dressrosa felt very static for a lot of the time, and like I feel like in this arc, it feels like we're like each there's a beginning, middle, and end for each section. It feels like we're moving on to the next thing, and you know clearly what's happening, what's going on.
People argue that the last two acts of this arc feel static. But we'll see. We'll see when we get there. I don't agree, but that's also because I see the value in the character work that's happening as opposed to because I feel like the last two acts of this arc technically not a lot is happening, but a ton of character stuff is happening to me. So I think it's got a bit of everything. But yeah, we get introduced to Daifuku here with this cool genie fruit. He's got to rub his belly to summon the genie. Very cool. And then we also get introduced to Oven, who has the heat fruit. Oven and Daifuku, I think, get a lot of... shine might be too strong of a word, but they're very present in the remainder of this arc as, like, very competent members of the Big Mom crew.
They're also triplets of Katakuri, correct?
Yeah, so these are triplets with Katakuri, and we had some theories on who the dad was, but I don't think those theories panned out. This is relating back to our other One Piece talks where we talk about the current arcs and stuff. But yeah, like their dad must be impressive if he made like 3 of the strongest Big Mom pirates.
I'm saying.
Brook gets beheaded here as like a ploy to talk to Luffy while he's pinned down because at this point Bage still has to pretend that he is not betraying Big Mom yet. It's not time yet. And Luffy cracking up as he sees like Brook's idea is very cute.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm alive. Well, I'm dead.
I didn't know you could do that, man. Luffy and Brook have a lot of good interactions to start because I feel like Brook gets the short end of the stick in a lot of ways because he gets introduced to the crew. The next arc, the crew is gone. And then like he's like, all right, I'm gonna wait 2 years to meet y'all again, even though we've been sailing together for 2 months. When you get down to it, actually, the crew has been further apart than they've been together. Is that not weird?
I know, that's nuts, right?
Yeah, I mean, once Luffy saves your life, you're a friend for life, and you're like, it doesn't matter how long I've known you, the quality time has been too good. That's how I like to see it, anyways. So at this point, Germa is pinned down by the candy. They're about to get executed, and this is one of the green text Katakuri memes. Be me, everything's going to shit. Brother Paris Paris is still doing villain monologue and not killing Germa. But it works out. But what I really like about this little portion is that you really get to see, and Judge gets to see the error of his ways, where even in the face of death, the Germa kids can't really produce the emotion that kind of befits the scene, where they're just like, we're fucked. We don't have our raid suits. We're gonna die. And Judge is freaking out, and Reiju's like, yeah, like those guys are just messed up in the head. I thought this was a really good way to like highlight the weakness of kind of Judge's idea without like making a big show of it. But
panel,
which
I thought was a great.
This is such a satisfying panel because fuck you, Judge. You deserve this. I will say you can definitely tell Oda switched to digital drawing by looking at Judge's beard hairs. At least I think so. They got the vibe of digital drawings to me, and I
see it.
You would know better, Bradley. You draw, but yeah, like Judge Judge was so upset when he finds out Big Mom betrayed him. Which, did you feel bad for him? I felt, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to say.
Nah, fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
There's a lot of people he'd probably do the same too.
Yeah, true. He's just mad that it happened to him. He's like, you were the way that I was gonna get back at the West Blue or the North Blue, and now it's all coming apart. The thing is, Judge genuinely loves the kids that he does love. I believe that. I don't know if you guys think he does. But But I could definitely see it. So I could see him also being very upset that he's about to lose his kids as well.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So Bei's dropping some fire lines. Everyone has an equal right to change the future. Like, what a cool guy!
I
Look at
know.
this guy. Yeah, saying that's not a special privilege. That's fantastic. Let's see here. I thought this was really interesting. It's a little thing where someone is mentioning how people thank each other in One Piece with very simple thank you and thanks, and not saying the alternative instead. And I just think it's interesting that Oda says that he does this intentionally.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I think there's some other things like that that he just does as like a writing choice that just came to him. Like, for example, not having Luffy have thought bubbles.
Yeah, it's like I can't say exactly how much readers will notice this or even appreciate this or how much it adds to the story, but it's definitely Oda makes all these sorts of decisions like he sets like almost One Piece esque like rules for himself that he follows to give the series kind of the texture it has. I feel like some of those other rules are like seen in other places. Like it might not be easy
Yeah.
to kind of pick them out without seeing them in an SBS or something. But I feel like the Oda does a lot of stuff intentionally that you have to kind of like read it all with that in mind to see how it's executed. But that's interesting. And Big Mom's like she. It's funny because when the Mother Caramel picture is broken, Big Mom's kind of mind broken for a little bit. She doesn't even know what to be angrier about first, which I think is pretty funny because just so much went wrong in like a minute. That she's mentally overwhelmed.
Oh yeah.
But when she finally yells, it's like a fucking nuke. I think that's so cool. They make that one of her attacks in Pirate Warriors.
Ooh.
She just does a big yell and does a big old shockwave. Speaking of satisfying panels,
Return the boy.
Sanji on top of the table saving his family is so good. Man, now they owe him, and like Judge crying for his life, snot running down his nose, which is like Oda's crying faces are so on point, like most of the time, and like snotty Judge is like the kind of like the different side of it, where it's like it's pathetic at that point, like. When like Robin's crying and she's got snot coming off her nose, you feel bad for her. When Judge is doing it, like you feel like it's a pathetic moment that he deserves. So I just gotta shout out Oda's crying faces. But yeah, I also like Chopper showing up and putting an earplug on Reiju's ear. It's just funny because like that close up of Chopper, she's like, "What exactly is happening? Like who is this guy? I don't know if she's even ever met.
What is
Chopper.
this raccoon thing?
This raccoon dog."
Yeah.
So, okay, we're going to go to the Big Mom flashback now. I think the dialogue going into it is pretty interesting. Nobody will hear me out. Hey, mother, where did you go? Why did you just up and vanish? 63 years ago in the New World, Elbaf. So, like, a lot to take in here. I feel like this this primes you for sadness right off the bat, which is, I don't think something anyone expecting was reading One Piece was expecting this to kind of happen, like going into a Big Mom flashback with tragedy in mind. I was certainly taken aback, but I guess maybe I shouldn't be because that's kind of the new world. We actually have complex villains now, with actual backstories. So like I feel like Doflamingo should have primed me for this, but I think Big Mom is just such a monster that having a backstory for her that's supposed to garner sadness out of you just came out of left field for me, but I think it works really well. And I'll say that the dialogue of like, why did you just up and vanish, really gets you interested, but then also the flashback takes back in Elbaf. We've been waiting to see or go to Elbaf since Little Garden in like the hundreds. So I think that's a pretty hype way to start the flashback, which let's get into it now. Lin, age 5. She's big bone. She's a little big.
I think Mom has been doing some things.
She's a human. She's just a human. Yeah. How the fuck did they produce this bitch?
That's the thing. I don't think we ever really find out why she's this big. She just kind of is. But you know what? I think One Piece kind of has more than one instance of this. I think with her, it's more of a fate thing. I think she
Yeah.
was just kind of destined to be one of the four emperors. She was just born powerful.
Yeah,
You
Oh.
know, yeah.
no, you go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like I was looking at Linlin's mom here.
Yeah, she looks like Lola and Chiffon.
Yeah,
Man, that's interesting.
Ooh.
yeah.
Like, at first I was like, yeah, well, that's where they get it from. But then you step back and it's like, is there some early resentment, like, attached to them because they remind her of her shitty parents?
Yeah.
And calling them
Maybe.
shitty is interesting, too, because you can completely understand why they left her here. Like, they're crying in the next page as they're like, sailing away, as I recall. But, yeah, she's a giant ass girl, age of 5, left by. Yeah, they're crying here. Exile was a merciful sentence, and they're like, the lady here will take care of because this is where the Holy Mother lives. This guy, I don't know why he looks familiar, but I don't think we're supposed to know him. I feel like I would know if we're supposed to know him. I think he's just a random guy.
Blackbeard's dead.
So we get introduced to Mother Carmel, which has a cool backstory of. She is kind of a liaison between the giants and the human race, where the giant pirates were captured and she was able to kind of give them amnesty. And I don't believe these guys joined the Marines. She just showed up and freed them, right? Because they make a point later about John the Giant, but we'll get there when we get there.
Man, this backstory made me feel so betrayed and sad because
Dude, when you find out the twist...
when we met Mother Carmel, I was like, oh, what a sweet lady. It just goes to show you, like, there are still good people in the world. Like, I don't know. I was like,
It's
I was like, she's the
fantastic.
best character. She's the best character in One Piece. She's so sweet and kind.
Man, she's great. So, Big Mom is now part of the orphanage. And it's really cool because finally there's people bigger than her. And I think there's like that childhood wonder of finally people bigger than me. I can horse around with them. And like it's a place where I can kind of belong. It's very interesting because she's a human who, and like there's tall people in One Piece, but this girl's a fucking giant straight up.
Yeah.
And
Dude, even like, I don't. Even now, I'm getting goosebumps. I was just so happy for her on this panel. I was like, she finally has a place where she doesn't feel like a freak, or like she can belong, and she's just like, getting all this wonder, and she has a new little family with the orphanage, and I don't know.
because it starts really sad, but then like life is good for her. Like it'd be like you could almost expect her to be dropped off here, and then she has the shitty childhood where no one loves her, and that's how she becomes who she becomes, kind of like a Doflamingo-esque backstory. But no, she had like a really loving upbringing aside from the fact that she was left behind. And there's even a panel later, I don't know if I grabbed it, where she's horsing around with this giant girl who is only slightly taller than her. And she's like, no, stop, Linlin's gonna kill us! Like, the giant girl screamed
Yeah.
Linlin, which is just really cute. And here you start to realize something is amiss, because, like, Linlin is just casually killing bears with one hit.
Yeah.
And not realizing what she's doing. And I feel like to get the full enjoyment out of Whole Cake Island, I think what keeps Whole Cake Island from being a good arc to one of people's favorites, which Whole Cake is one of the arcs you often see in people's top one. Like of course, you always see Enies Lobby in Water 7 and Marineford, but I would feel like the third most popular number one arc is probably Whole Cake, at least from what I've seen. And I think what separates people who really like Whole Cake or people who were like maybe burnt out by it when they were reading weekly is kind of understanding what Oda's going for with Big Mom's character here.
Yeah.
Because I think it's very interesting and I really like it, which is why me and Joe put her very high on our tier list. Because I think we both kind
Too
of
high, but she should still be pretty high.
I don't think it's too high personally.
Okay.
But well, I mean, you also didn't
Actually, I
let
think
it.
I fought for her to be that high up. Actually, thinking about it.
Yeah, like well, it was. I think it was a compromise we had to make because you wouldn't let me put Katakuri number one. But I digress. Yeah, she just instant shots. Here's the panel of the giant girl running for Big Mom, which is really cute. And all the giants are like really friendly. And what's cool is, do you remember these two? They're from Ennie's Lobby.
Uh,
They're the two
no.
giants Usopp are friends.
Oh, that's right.
I
Oh
think
yeah, okay.
it's like Oimo and Kaishi or something. I think they drop one of their names
I think
here.
Oimo's definitely the name of one of them. I'm not sure about the other one.
What happened was they went out to search for their leaders who disbanded the pirate crew, which were Dory and Broggy. And I think they were tricked by the world government to like serve a sentence by working for them, and they would release the leaders, but they never had the other two giants. They just tricked them. But it's cool. They lived in Elbaf, and here they are, younger.
Yeah.
We also get Hajarudin, which we met last arc, which is super cool. And he was always a badass. And this was before he was punching 10-ton men with his bare fist. But it's cool because also he's part of the Straw Hat Fleet. So it's just nice to get a little bit of extra backstory here. It does make you wonder, it's like, with this flashback, what if we don't end up going to Elbaf? Like, what if Oda covered the Elbaf stuff that he wanted here? I don't think that's the case. But I wouldn't rule it out either, I guess.
Do you think Elbaf might be like a decimated kind of thing, or do you think it'll be fine?
Oh, maybe we get there and it's obliterated.
Yeah.
I could see it going that way, but like that would be a big like shoe drop moment because it's pretty much stated that like out of every island in One Piece, Elbaf's got to be the strongest because all the natives are so strong and the giant pirates are so strong, and like I think Wano's also stated to be pretty strong, but I think Elbaf is hyped even more than that as far as strength goes.
Yeah.
So, but also like Usopp has such a tie to here where it's like we can't not have a Usopp arc at Elbaf. You know, like I feel like it's gotta happen.
It's gotta happen.
Joe and I have some. I mean, a lot of the fan base has some theories of how we can tie Shanks into the Elbaf storyline too, and take out a lot of eggs in off of one go. That's not a saying.
We talked about it now.
Oh, I wonder if there's anything else worth bringing up before we talk about it. Yeah, go for it, Joe. Take it away.
So the theory that we have is after Wano is they go to Elbaf and Shanks is there. And Shanks knows where the last Poneglyph is and everything. But instead of like fighting Shanks, they do a Davy back fight for it.
Which I think would be so cool.
I think that would be cool, but then there'd be a bunch of people who are like,
exactly. Like one of those people is Tyler. He's like, a Davy back fight arc. I would hate it if it comes back. I think it'd be so hype. Plus, we need more lore on Davy Jones. Like the Davy back fight's named after Davy Jones, and we haven't gotten Davy Jones lore. Who is he?
Like Davy Jones is such like a low hanging fruit pirate thing.
I know. Like Oda's got to have something like in that tank. So, that aside, let's talk about the decimation of the fucking giant village because Big Mom needed more semla.
Yeah, hold on.
I think this is, like, very telling of what Big Mom is, and she is a force of nature who is...
a monster.
She's genuinely a monster of a scale that I don't think there's anything in One Piece quite like Big Mom.
Yeah, like truly unique.
Even the other emperors do not give me the same vibe as Big Mom does. Because
like, you know, Blackbeard got to where he was kind of through his cunning.
Yeah.
And he also kind of has that ambition that drives Luffy forward. Shanks, obviously we don't know a lot about him, but I always get the vibe that he's just a very cool-headed and very skilled man at what he does. But Big Mom, I'm like, she is just powerful as shit.
She kills the Giant King later. Yeah, she straight up, like, she flips this guy over because she's going through a hunger pang and murders this man. He doesn't die instantly, but the injuries are so severe that he dies in the hospital bed. She's 5.
And like you were saying, like, Elbaf has long been touted as, like, one of the, like, final, like, like one of the late game One Piece areas where everyone's supposed to be super strong.
Yeah. And this really explains... So, we didn't talk about the festival where they have to fast for 12 days, and it's interesting because like this is a medical condition. I think that's important to point out that like Big Mom has some weird physical issue. I don't know why. It's not explained in the flashback. It might not have a deeper explanation aside from like she was just built different and born. She was born cursed and blessed at the same time. Where like she has these hunger pangs where she's straight up not herself anymore. She's not the sweet girl who's running around the island, maybe accidentally killing a bear or two. She is a force of destruction who destroys the entire village because she's hungry. Like, there is no character like this in almost anything, really. Like, it's so unique because the childhood innocence really balances Big Mom out to be really interesting. Joe, by the way, you haven't reread Whole Cake, right, Joe? You're just kind of following along.
Entirely. I read, I think, just up to like the Big Mom wedding starting.
And the Giant King here he's the one who's telling us that the other giant's gonna die, and he's like, we're gonna kill this girl. I like, this is the greatest dishonor. He also talks about a warrior is not defined by his years, but how he dies. I think that's interesting because how people die is something that's come up. There was a quote from Law where he says the weak don't get to choose how they die, and then Doflamingo echoes that with a slightly different wording. And then there's also Kaido, whose whole thing is that he's trying to suicide in a very spectacular way, so he's also trying to die by some flashy way. So, and he's right. Like, look at how Whitebeard dies and reignites the fire of the Age of Pirates, despite the fact that like that could have been a crushing day for pirates if not for Whitebeard's fantastic death. You know.
I know, man.
I vibe with the fact that the Giants really take that to heart as a culture. It's not an individual thing. Their whole culture is around that. Also worth noting that the reason why they have this festival, and I could be wrong, is because they want to give thanks to the sun, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, something like that.
So
Yeah.
This is not the first culture we've seen that has ties with either the sun or the moon. So Oda's doing something here with these celestial bodies. That's all I know. Because there's the Sun Pirates, of course, in the Fishman Island. But then when you get to the moon, you have maybe Skypians, you have the Minks, you have maybe the Kozuki clan. So there's a lot of stuff going on here, which we might theorize on.
Celebrating the winter solstice, going back and rereading it.
But they're celebrating it. There's something about the sun there, giving thanks to like the warmth. But I'll let you try to figure that out if you want. As we discuss the hard twist of this flashback, which is the fact that Mother Caramel is not the sweet woman she is. From the start, she's a fucking child trafficker.
Dude, this hurt me so bad.
Incredibly dark. She's been so sweet this whole flashback.
I know.
And her design takes such a different turn when she's not smiling like before.
I know, dude.
When she's arguing with the CP0 guy. Yeah, so it's also crazy because not only is she a child trafficker, her nice thing with the Giants was a fucking cover, like it was staged by the world government to get a human in with the Giants. Is that, first of all, that's just good plot. That's just good storytelling right there. But also, I feel so betrayed, like Bradley said. It's really good. Really juicy. Maybe I'll talk about it now. Big Mom's dream, right? She wants an island that has everyone, and she wants everyone to eat at her eye level. The eye level thing we explained earlier because she felt alienated as a giant monster as a child, and she was happy that she got to Elbaf, and finally there were people who were even bigger than her, could see her eye to eye. And I think it's actually interesting that she wants to go eye to eye specifically, where it's like, so I was bigger than humans, but then giants were bigger than me, and now giants hate me. Wouldn't it be cool if we were all just at the same level height-wise? It almost sounds noble. In fact, it is. She just goes about it in horrible ways. Which it gives her a really cool motivation, which I think is one of the reasons why she ranks so high for me. But isn't it weird how islands in One Piece are very racist? This is something that came up recently in a Library of Ohara video, which I never really thought about, but shouldn't there be like more fishmen in like certain islands, or a giant here or there, or a mink? Isn't that fucking kind of weird that it took us 700 chapters to meet a mink, aside from Beppo, whose pirates do not count because they break these boundaries that I'm talking about. But
Yeah, and you know what? This is kind of getting into some of the themes of One Piece, but I feel like the world is very divided, both in very like literal ways and also not so literal ways,
Yeah.
because obviously, we've seen efforts by, Shirahoshi's mom to like, I don't know, integrate human and fishman society a little bit, but then even within human society, there's that separation between celestial dragons and everyone else. And on the more literal level, the world is divided by the red line. And even on either side of the red line, people are divided by these different oceans that separate the islands.
not to mention
And
it's all island based, so that's already a sea divide for every island.
I know there's kind of big theories about how kind of one of the core themes of One Piece, and in fact, what obtaining the One Piece might be, is breaking down these barriers between people. So here's what I'm thinking.
Stuff like that really feeds into it. Like, yeah, like when you think about it, like there should be a fishman here. Let's take fishman out of the equation, right? Because I feel like Oda really went hard on the racism there, not like in a bad way.
Yeah.
He just decided to choose that as like the main highlighted race. There should be more minks and a giant here or there, or like a
Long
Skypean.
people and long leg people.
Long legs, like it took us till the Grand Line to really start running into long legs and snake necks and stuff like that. So
Fucking long legs and snake necks, motherfuckers.
I feel like racism and classism are very big themes of One Piece, but Oda just decided to go hard on it with the fishmen, but give every other race kind of like a different story for how they're different and separated from everyone else. And I just want to point out, I never forget it, Oars is called the Continent Polar from 900 years ago. What the fuck's up with that? That's all I'm saying.
What if the world used to be more united and the celestial dragons purposefully made him separate people?
I honestly, like, I'm 95% sure that has
Let's
to be
fucking
it.
go. Like, you don't get, like, he doesn't get that name because he can pull continents. Like, he has to have gotten that name because he pulled a continent at some
Bradley,
point.
he's from the Lost History. Like, I think Moria specifically says the amount of time that he's had the Oris body for, or like how long ago he was from, and it happens to line up pretty closely with the Lost Century. All I'm saying is the world was very different 900 years ago.
Yeah.
Can't fucking wait for all these confirmations, or for Oda to be like, no, you're all idiots. It's not even close.
That was all a dream Luffy had while I was asleep. One thing we skipped over was we finally saw that Mother Caramel had the soul fruit originally.
Yes. Yeah, she's
And
got
used it.
To calm down Big Mom, she creates a little son to kind of like a dog, calm her down. And
Pandora.
what's that?
And she named the son Pandora.
Yes, which it starts the naming scheme for Zeus and Prometheus from later on, and pretty cool. And then there's Napoleon, who's like, I'm a hat. So he kind of breaks the theme a little bit.
Yeah.
I like how she's like, and I'm out of the biz after this one. Like, she's about to have her retirement, and you know what happens when you're about to retire.
Oh, yeah.
And this is really cute. The kids want to sing Brinks Brew.
That was a really cool touch.
That's right. We're gonna be pirates someday. It's just like, it's nice to be taken back, being in citizen shoes and seeing how they view pirates, and like these kids are like, pirates are cool and we want to be them. Other kids in other towns might be like, pirates are scary, or they're actively oppressing my city. So there's just all sorts of variations of what people view pirates as, which is good world building. All right, this page is really good, and most people miss it the first time because it's not very graphic. But in her extreme happiness, and I think it was one of the most telling lines that's dropped here, is, where is it? Lin Lin found that she couldn't stop crying. What a wonderful day it was. She couldn't even see through her tears. Where does it mention she even takes a bite out of the table, and then she snaps out of it, and everyone's miraculously gone, and suddenly she has the soul fruit. So...
Yeah, the soul fruit is what got me, because that's the thing. I didn't actually realize this happened at first. I was talking to you guys about it, and I was like, man, her backstory was so sad. And when I was saying that, I thought it was just that, like, they distracted her with the cakes, and then Mother Carmel took all the other kids and left, and then the Marines were gonna come pick up Lin Lin. And I was like, oh, I mean, that's kind of weird, but I mean, that's still really sad. I can't believe that happened to her. And then one of you guys was like, yeah, man, that's brutal, like child cannibalism. And I was like, wait,
Child
wait,
cannibalism.
what? And then I was like, oh no, because that's the only part that was unresolved from the flashback for me. Is I was like, wait a minute. So how come Mother Carmel had the fruit, and then suddenly after eating everything, she had the fruit?
And then like, yeah, the tattered clothes, and the bitten table, and that might even be blood over there. I don't want to get too spooky, but like, yeah, Oda really wrote this shit into a child's manga, and I think it's brilliant.
So the screaming in the bottom right hand corner, the wahs and the ah.
That's the thing. That's so brilliant though, because you can read this as Big Mom in ecstasy, or you can read it as children screaming in pain and fear. Oh my god.
That's terrible.
So it was this moment here that I kind of realized and cemented to me like that I really, really like Big Mom, because you can make the argument midway through this flashback, like Big Mom only goes off and only causes destruction when she is like in pain, like is upset and acts like a baby, you know.
When she's in hunger pain mode is like a mental switch. Like she does have control of that. So you could argue it's that, but
in the moment where she's her most happiest, ecstatic, and just overall like feeling great about herself, she kills everyone that she's ever loved and has kind of loved her. And it kind of just shows you that she has no control of like for what she is, and that she is just a genuine monster from start to end. It's almost like, what are you supposed to do with this thing? Like, it's completely reasonable why like her parents like dropped her off, because like no matter what they did, it would probably end up in their deaths if they did not get rid of her.
This is such a tragic character. Like, come on. She's top 10. Get it. Y'all people just think she's not hot, so y'all don't like her. And not you guys, but the internet. Big Mom gets a lot of flack because she's used for comedy a lot of the times, and she's got a goofy design. But I think the writing that goes behind making her a unique character is just so good. And, like, it's so tragic. Like, it's not her fault that she was born this way. She was literally born this way. And it gets darker once you get to Streusen, but before we move on from this, this is one where when I was reading this arc, and I stocked it up to read it in like a bunch of one goes, I read this chapter, and then I kept reading, and then some of the dialogue next chapter seemed a little sus, and then I went back, I was like, did this fucker eat the children? And then I had to go to the Reddit, and in the Reddit for this chapter discussion, so many comments are like, oh my god, did she eat those kids? And then every comment below it is like, oh my, I didn't even realize. And then everyone's slowly coming to the same conclusion. Like, ooh. It's so unbelievable that it's easy to miss. And like that's a chef's kiss moment from Oda right there. Round of applause. And he snuck it into something that children watch on a Sunday morning. Wonderful. Also goes to show you don't need gore to make something like horrifying. You just like the slow realization of the scene is cooler than seeing her actually eat the children to me. But this also begs another question. Does eating a person give you the devil fruit, or did the devil fruit spawn inside of Big Mom because she ate like a whole fruit?
Yeah, I just assumed like either some fruit she had already eaten or one that was on the table turned into it.
But it can't be, because the table only has semla, or these croquembouches. I forget which one's which.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. Maybe if you eat someone, maybe.
I think if you fully eat someone, you just get it. Which
deadass
begs the question: Did Blackbeard eat like Whitebeard's heart?
Yeah.
That's a little creepy.
Spinal fluid.
Let's go.
Yeah, could be some Attack on Titan spinal fluid shit. You never know. And you snap back from the flashback, and it's just tragic. Like, she's still torn up about that day. She doesn't understand what she did. maybe deep down inside she might know, but she doesn't want to accept it. There's just so much going on in this crazy hag's head, and I just think it adds to making a very cool character. And she just wants her mom back, and those times she had with all the giants when they still were her friends. Like, she lost all of that. Now giants don't even associate with her. She's lost all of that part of her life. And you get to first of all, before we get to this chapter, this cover story is currently showing the Grand Fleet, kind of what they're up to. Here's more of that digital art style that Oda's been doing lately.
Yo.
But Cavendish is telling the backstory about how he was exiled from his kingdom for being too hot. And then you get this one where it's like, and that's why we shouldn't open fire, because they're not enemy ships. They're like fanboys. And then I think this isn't Orlumbus. I forget this guy's name. He's just like, well, that was a long explanation. like, he just went off on this tirade about why he has fangirls, and this dude was just not having it. I want more of the Grand Fleet. That's the summary, and I want it in more than just cover story form. So there's a little bit more to this flashback, and I think maybe the most important part of the flashback is actually these couple of panels. Streusen, with his cook fruit, witnessed what happened. Actually, two people witnessed. And this is also confirmation that it was cannibalism because of how this is set up. So the giant sees it, and then that's why he's like, we do not associate with Linlin. She's a monster. I just saw her eat a bunch of kids. But then Streusen sees it, and he's like, I can manipulate this. And we talked with Dofi about how Treble and the other, like, 3 heads of the organization saw what Dofi was capable of and molded him into their king of evil. And that's the exact same thing that happens with Big Mom. And you even see a panel of, like, a teenage Big Mom just straight up, like, destroying, like, a village or, like, Marines or something. And she already has Prometheus and Zeus at that point, and it's like,
yeah,
she is a character who's a force of nature, who's still kind of a child in her brain, who was molded to evil. But unlike Dofi, who matured, Big Mom was born so powerful that she never had to face any consequences for her actions. She just keeps charging along and destroying everything in her path, and nothing can stop her. And I think once you encapsulate all that, and encapsulate all her mental illnesses and stuff like that, I think that's what completes her as a character, and also completes her in this arc, because she's about to just become a unstoppable tank in some very horrifying scenes. And like, yeah, I think the way Oda tied this all together with introducing Streusen was really good.
Yeah.
And you find out Streusen's also the head chef. I think also, and this is not as fun, Streusen is also Big Mom's first husband. He's Paris Sparrow's dad, if I'm not mistaken.
Child groomer?
Child groomer much? In every sense of the word? This dude is evil as fuck.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh my god. This is not as fun anymore. Yeah, here it is, like, cute teenage Big Mom just murdering people with a bounty of 500 million. This is Luffy's bounty right now. And Big Mama had that as a teenager. That's insane.
I honestly thought this person Big Mom was picking up was a handbag for the longest time.
Oh, that's like a king.
Yeah.
She's like just straight murdering a king. She doesn't give a fuck. Yeah, Robin eat your heart out. I think Big Mom lapped you as far as being horrifying. And it's cool. Zeus and Prometheus have always been with her. I also see them as like a part of her fractured psyche, because they have personalities of their own, and they kind of like either steer her in certain directions or calm her down, or like bode her into doing more evil. Like, it's interesting. It's like a left angel, right angel, or like a left angel, right devil that she created herself. Also, Panda Man shirt. I just saw that. I'm on to you. Been a while since I've seen a Panda Man. And peace in a land of dreams. If you do what I say, everyone will be happy. She still thinks she's doing good. But because of the way Streusen raised her, her doing good is doing what she wants. And that's not good. It's selfishness. And it's kind of fucked up. This is kind of a disturbing panel where it's Big Mom and her children friends gigantified and Mother Caramel gigantified. But she's still her current age, but she's still thinking like, I want to be with the kids and Mother Caramel in the same age where they left me. Just huge abandonment issues. Both of them are actual parents and Mother Caramel. So the plan immediately goes awry. They shoot the missiles that Caesar crafted, and she blows them up with her scream in midair. And this starts such a fun escalation of the plan just eating shit, just one after the other. This might be the funniest part, where her yell shatters the mirror that was their escape plan.
God damn.
Caesar's face here is very good. We didn't talk about this, but what do you think about Luffy wanting to being down to assassinate Big Mom?
Because that's the thing. Luffy never really sets out to kill someone, you know?
Yeah.
Like, the only person I could really see him genuinely wanting to kill is Akainu.
Yeah. Maybe Blackbeard. Definitely when he talked about Akainu earlier in an arc, his scar started aching and he was pissed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess I didn't think about it that much, but, I can see it because I think even Luffy has to admit if his goal is to become king of the pirates, that's not compatible with the other four emperors really existing, which, Shanks is a four emperor, but he doesn't have to fight Shanks.
We're gonna resolve that. We're gonna resolve that with a friendly Davy back fight. Don't even front.
Yeah, there you go.
It's
Luffy does mention that he has to go and fight Shanks at one point, but he's gonna save him for last.
Yeah, it's in Punk Hazard when they're making the Kaido plan at the beginning. Yeah. It's knee jerk. It's almost out of character for Luffy to be down with an assassination plan, but also Luffy's a bit of a hypocrite, because he'll constantly go on about how pirates have to fight unfair. It doesn't matter if pirates fight fair. It comes up in the Katakuri fight more than once. There's no such thing as a fair fight between pirates, which is a lesson that Shanks instilled in him, and he's mentioned multiple times throughout the series and even in this arc. But also, with that in mind, assassination is not out of the question. But also, Luffy doesn't want to win by unfair methods because he wants to prove himself. I think most of all because it feels like if he has to take a shortcut to win, and even then you could argue the gears are a bit of a shortcut where it's I'm gonna waste my life to get stuff done right now, and then we'll figure it out later. I'll climb to that level later on my own, but right now we're gonna use gear 2 and 3 to solve the issue or whatever. So it's he says he pirates fight unfair, but he also tries to fight fair a lot of the time, or tries to push himself. So I guess the way I see it, and Joe, I don't know how you might see it because you might want to give your take too. It's Luffy was never super ecstatic about the assassination plan. He was down to crash the wedding, and he's well, if you guys think killing Big Mom that's on you, Beige, we're gonna help. He's complicit too. That's the thing. Also, if Big Mom was to die here, Luffy was complicit to the murder. But I think he's also okay, well, if we don't assassinate her, I'm gonna beat her after anyways. One way or another, it's if she's an obstacle, by the time I need to take her down, I will do it. If she's not an obstacle by then so be it. That's the way I think he sees it.
Yeah. The way I saw it was more of he saw everything that was happening to Sanji and what he did or what she did to Sanji and the pudding and all that, and he's an emotional mastermind like we mentioned before, and he just knows that given the chance to take her out, he might as well just take the chance, because
also the plan here is not to killing Big Mom is Beige's plan. Luffy and crew wants to save Germa. Maybe that's the important part that we're also not discussing is
I think that's the other thing too, is that this is my way of getting this objective of mine done. I'll sign on for it.
Yeah.
Because you can also think of it with Law and Kaido, he's yeah, I'll go beat up Kaido. Oh, you need to go to Doflamingos first? Yeah, okay, sure, let's go.
True, and he's also he makes an alliance to beat Kaido, but he's not saying I'm the one who's gonna beat Kaido by myself.
Correct. Yeah.
He's more of a realist than I think we give him credit for sometimes. Man, what a character.
We got
Yo. So
Big Father.
shit's going bad. The mirror's broken. What are we gonna do? We're gonna fucking summon the Big Father.
he can turn into a
Harry
fucking
Maya.
mech.
He has a chimney cigar.
This
It's
was
so good.
like this instantly like obviously this other devil fruits I'd probably want more in real life than this one, but I don't know. I saw this panel, I was like, I want that devil fruit.
This is one of the coolest, dude. I can carry you guys inside me.
and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Just get in.
oh man, I hope I'm not made sad by this answer, but can you play as this form in Pirate Warriors 4 even
In Pirate
briefly?
Warriors 4, you can play as a lot of forms. However, this is just a super. It's a
Come on.
it's a super, and it's like one of the
Yeah.
coolest ones because it's like maybe has the biggest range because he just goes crazy with cannonballs.
I think
Yeah.
you stay in the form for a little bit and you get to like rotate him around as he shoots, if I remember correctly.
I
But it
think
might
it's
be wrong.
stationary. A cool mechanic of this portion of the arc is like, yeah, okay, we're in beige, but it's temporary because Big Mom hits so hard, and the Big Mom pirates are so like on top of it right now that I can't attack back. So we're just standing. We need to find another way out. So I think that's a really cool way to like show this power. I think it looks dope. It's got that One Piece curviness that looks stupid but cool. And yeah, beige is the best. We also finally get the Sentai transformations I think we were promised.
Yeah. I've been waiting for this the whole arc.
I like how they spin and then become goopy light. It's a cool aesthetic. A lot of Reiju boob action. Very down. Oh my god, this panel. This is so cool.
Ooh.
Germa 66.
It's pretty badass.
I think at some point Judge drops a hint of lore of why they are called 66. I think I grabbed that panel. That might be later, but like it's a very small hint of lore that he doesn't go into, so we don't have much to extrapolate.
Also, did you tell Bradley about the 66 gate?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it last time, but if you remember, Bradley, in Punk Hazard, there was a part of the facility that was called R66, and we know that Judge worked with Vegapunk, right? I think that's mentioned. Or am I making that up?
Yeah. No, that's a thing.
So if that was Vegapunk's island and there's a faction of the facility called R66, you have to imagine that some of the human experimentation, at the very least, was started there or was performed there. And I think that's a really like super easy to miss point of like world building, but I think it's pretty cool. I love the like structuring of this page with Beige's face halved by the Big Father. Big Father. It's just a cool visual way to see that like he's very much in control of what's happening with his body. But of course, I think the Big Mom pirates, even outside of Big Mom, they screw up here and there, but they're like the most competent crew we've seen by far. Where Paris shows up, blocks the shots, Katakuri fills the cannons with mochi. So just immediately, this huge form that looked really badass is just invalidated. And I think that's fair. I don't think that's a slight against Beige. It's just like they were so cornered that this form can just buy them time. You know? I think that's cool. This is also pretty neat. Reiju does like a poison kick to Smoothie. And we see that she has the ability to wring out poison out of her own body. So she can like wring out any liquid out of her body. It's pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so we're being realist here. We're not going to go out there and fight Big Mom because we don't need to. We saved Germa. If we wanted to actually fight Big Mom, we would have brought the whole crew. Now, this is Brooke being reasonable, but also it doesn't go very well because, like, if they don't do something about Big Mom and Katakuri, they're not going to escape, and that situation gets worse and worse as it keeps going. Yeah, I think this is the moment where like Beige really shows like his father epitaph, not only as like a actual family, but also like a mob boss. He is fighting, like he's giving it all to make sure that his family survives. He's like, I don't really care what happens to the Straw Hats. We're allies and all right now, but I will protect my own, which I think is pretty neat. And can I just say thank you, Oda, for like, there's a flying character with us right now who can fly pretty effortlessly without using much stamina. let's just use that character for a lot of the plot. Like,
Yeah.
Oda is really on top of that with that and Brule. It's like, Brule's exploitable, we're gonna exploit the fuck out of Brule. And like, Caesar can fly, we're gonna turn me back into small, keep all of you inside me, and then just me and Caesar are gonna escape. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, and that entire plan, there was a moment during this wedding where I was like, everything that's happening right now in the plot is just like only possible because of these cool ass devil fruits.
Which, I forget when or what series, like, I know Bradley has a big appreciation when a story can only happen because of the abilities.
Man.
And this is very much one of those scenarios. Oh, talk about so many satisfying moments. Sanji bringing Judge to his knees and saying, I say, so Judge is asking him, why did you save us? And he said, I have a father and I don't want to, like, betray him. And, like, he didn't raise me to be the person who leaves behind my real family. But then he grabs Judge and forces him to admit, you are not my father, Vince Smoke Judge. Oh, you deserve that one, buddy.
I really love it because it's very much like, rather than to like accept who Judge is and that kind of cop out ending, it's Sanji putting his foot down and be like, no, you abused me my entire life. I am not forgiving you for what you have done. And I never wanted you back in here in the first place. And I just want to reaffirm that.
Man, Sanji's snotty over here. He's like, I didn't, like, that's a very small detail, but like, you know when you're saying something to your parents and you're fighting back and you're like, I don't feel comfortable saying this, but I have to, and I feel bad for saying it. That's the vibe I get here, where it's like, he's like on the verge of tears, finally fighting back with his abusive dad kind of scenario. Oh.
And I've mentioned this in all of our whole cake talks, but as early as the first 100 or 200 chapters of One Piece, we've had those themes of like your found family versus like birth family, and this is just one of the epitomes of that. He's like biologically, you're my father, but you are not my father.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Get Maury up in here.
Yeah.
Vince Smoke Judge, you are not the father.
You are not the father.
It's also worth noting that, like, Judge doesn't apologize. He takes the verbal beating, and then when he's gonna go, like, Germa's gonna be the one that can make sure Caesar and Beige can escape, which is pretty interesting because they got into this mess to save the family, and they saved the family, but now the family's gonna go fight. But I mean, that's just how it is, you know, like when you're warriors and fighters, if they want to go back in there and give their lives, I think Sanji and Luffy did their jobs, you know, like they did what they could.
And you know, like you were saying, like Judge, you know, he doesn't say he's sorry. He doesn't lash out in anger. He's not really sad.
He takes it and moves on.
I don't know if you would even necessarily make the stance that he respects Sanji more or less for it. He accepts it. He says, "As you will," and I really think that moment was a lot more for Sanji than it is for Judge. Like, it's not that he's telling Judge this to make Judge feel any type of way. I think it really is more for Sanji's own benefit.
Because even after Sanji saves his life, Judge still views him as a failure to this point. Like he's not ready to let go of that misconception of Sanji. And Sanji accepts that, like, them fighting for us is as good as we're gonna get. Let's get moving, y'all. Ah, such good family drama. I like this panel of Luffy and Sanji, like, deflecting Big Mom's punch. A couple things to note. Luffy, when I was reading this arc, and when everyone's reading this arc, they're like, how the fuck is Luffy gonna fight Big Mom?
Yeah.
And I think that might set people up for disappointment. It doesn't make sense that he should be able to fight Big Mom, but I think you get here, it's like, well, if not now, then when, right? And you kind of have to accept the fact that it was not time to do the Luffy versus Big Mom fight. Yeah. So you kind of have to swallow the fact that you're going to be fighting Katakuri instead when you're reaching this part of the story.
Because that's the thing is, I don't know, if he has a proper 1v1 with Big Mom,
there's just
that
no
doesn't
fucking
feel right. But if we don't fight her at all, then it's like the story's already like 1,000 chapters. We gotta get going and fight her. So it's like, what do you do?
I thought this. We'll get to it when we finish the arc, but I thought Oda handled this progression really well. Of
I
like,
think so.
we did not waste time in the progression of Luffy getting there, but we also did not jump the gun. Also,
thinks we
notably,
did.
what was that, Joe?
Tyler thinks we did.
What, that we jumped
But-
too fast? Tyler forgets. We know.
Yeah.
This.
Tyler
Sanji's
doesn't like Walking Island. He thinks nothing happened.
yeah, because we didn't fight big. That's true. He's gone on record to say because like Luffy's not fighting Big Mom, it's not a worthy arc, and it's just like, well, that's a Tyler thought, all right.
And you know what? Here's my stance that I just came up with right now, and I'll die by it. Like, when you start reading One Piece and you learn about the four emperors, I think most people will just kind of instantly get this preconception, like, okay, Luffy is going to have to beat each of the four emperors in a 1v1 fight. But being the king of the pirates isn't just about being the hardest hitting dude. I think a lot of it is also about being a captain, and being a captain also means amassing this crew of people who will ride or die for you. And the only reason Luffy's able to trade blows with Big Mom right here is because he's punching alongside like
Sanji.
his best friend in the world.
Yeah, like you
so
put it so well.
I think it works.
You put it so well, actually. Yeah, because like, here's the thing. By the time One Piece ends, people keep talking like, oh man, after this arc, who are gonna like, we're fighting the emperors. After we take out the emperors, is there gonna be new emperors? Like, is it gonna be like Luffy and Law and like other worst generation characters? It's like, when you get down to it, the four emperor system is just a stalemate because none of them can do One Piece yet. Like, it's not a natural order of things. It's a system that's meant to be broken and shattered because there will be one true king by the end of the series, and that's motherfucking Monkey D. Luffy. So, the four emperors, like, that system needs to be dissolved. It doesn't matter if, like, necessarily Luffy is 1v1ing all of them. I think he needs to 1v1 at least one of them.
Yeah.
Even cooler if he can take out multiple, but also I don't think it's mandatory to the goal. And I think it's cool that you mentioned, like, Mihawk said Luffy's strongest ability is being able to bring people to him. And, I mean, that's what's getting the job done right now, So I think that's proven to be true.
Yeah, it's like we already have emperors like Big Mom who their whole thing is that they are the unstoppable force of destruction. And it's like, if Luffy beats her 1v1, I don't know. I don't want him to become King of the Pirates just because he was the hardest hitting dude.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if he truly just beats her one-on-one at this point in the story, it kind of just makes all of the build-up we did to her being super powerful go out the window.
Yeah, it's too easy.
I just like it. I like it that, her strength is that she's the hardest hitting motherfucker on the sea, and Luffy's strength is that it's the most shonen answer possible. His strength is his friends.
Yeah,
and you know what?
my friends are my power, says Luffy.
Yeah.
I really like reoccurring villains that come
Yes.
back and fuck with you.
So this ends up being like a fantastic introduction for a villain that might show. I mean, she's an emperor, of course she's going to show up later.
Right.
Speaking of people who show up later, like we were just talking about Judge, there's like a, you know what? I'm going to save it. But also worth noting, Sanji's hitting a woman, but he's doing it because she's ugly. Let's be real. Sanji's not being cool here.
Yeah.
I won't give him a hard time on his... First of all, I want Sanji to be hitting women. That's my stance. I think Sanji should hit a bitch, but I digress. Here, he's just deflecting her blows, so I think it's still true to his ideals.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Stussy shows that she's a CP0 agent by doing like a very cool like pinky finger gun. That's like a cool way for her to show that. And,
Yeah, is that like that's a finger pistol, but like a different one,
So yeah, like a finger pistol. Like we've seen like flying finger pistols since CP9 arc, but like it's cool that she could just like do like a little stealth one.
And I don't know how Oda did it. Like her face looks creepy as shit.
Yeah, she looks evil. This fucker is like, yo, while everything's going down, I gotta look at this tomate box. So,
which has a bomb in it, by the way.
We've known about the bomb.
forget.
It's the classic Hitchcock. We know about the bomb, but none of the characters know about the bomb. Luffy trades 2 blows with Big Mom, and then goes fight Katakuri. That's all we get between them. And
man, like,
he doesn't do shit to her. This is
That's
a
the
King Kong
thing.
gun. Or
This is Luffy doing like a borderline full effort King Kong gun. She is smiling and just kind of like sort of raising her arm to block it.
The
You
most
know?
you can say is that Luffy had to make her use armament hockey to block it.
Yeah.
That's the furthest he gets.
That's nuts, man.
I think that's so good though. Like he still has a ways to go. First of all, like, let's be real. Luffy's not even at Katakuri's level, and he's gonna have to beat Katakuri this arc. So it's like, it's such a Oda set up a really good progression and really fleshed out Big Mom in the meantime as well, so she can reoccur later, and we don't have to set her up. Honestly, kind of brilliant.
Yeah, and I think also he does a great job because we get introduced to Cracker at the beginning, which is like supposedly on the same level of Katakuri, right?
They're the
'Cause he's
same
also
ranking.
a Street Commander.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like fuck. It took all that to beat that one dude.
And then it's even
Also-
harder to beat the second dude, and he doesn't even scratch Big Mom here when he's going like pretty much all out.
Yeah.
So-
So the anime ruins this panel. Fun fact.
Yeah.
No way. What?
They make it a clash.
Like they struggle against each other rather than supposed to be punch. It's like nope.
Like, you see how Big Mom's smiling here effortlessly? That's not the vibe you get when you watch the anime in this scene. So, Same with I think we talked about the King Kong gun that finishes Doflamingo gets turned into a clash as well, which I like the fact that he just breaks through his final attack and just plummets him into the ground.
Like, yeah.
Oh, here we go. So, like, but our dream had already ended. In the wake of a dream of just 66 days, our ancestors were left as wandering ghosts, unable to set foot on their homeland. And now I have disgraced their memory. What the fuck is this guy talking about?
You know.
Yo, what if Brooke
Yeah, give me.
was in the original Germa land?
Was he from the West Blue or the North
He's
Blue?
from West Blue. Yeah.
But they're from the North Blue. That's the whole thing.
Oh,
Or are they from
yeah.
the
Hold
Empire?
on. All right.
Well, they're on sales, so
No.
they could go all over.
Why
the
would
place.
they want to go conquer the North Blue back if they weren't disgraced from the North Blue? Here's the thing. I need to know more about this. Like, again, we are definitely going to see Judge in a later arc. There's 0% chance where we don't see Judge in the future. Also, Big Mom eats his fucking spear. Oh my god. She's not even, like, in full freak-out mode yet. That happens when she starts thinking about the cake, and then she gets really hangry.
Yeah.
Brule shows up here and blocks Caesar. Just like all their escape plans are wrong because this is Caesar flying away. Brule blocks him. Katakuri and Perospero is doing shit. Germa's getting repelled, and the Deus Ex Machina Tamatame box explodes. And this is a fantastic panel. First of all, did you like this implementation of it? Because it was on the table for so long. People were like, "Is this gonna kill Big Mom or something?"
You know, the way I pictured it when it was set up is that, like, the chest would go to Big Mom, and she'd be like, oh, cool, a gift, and it would blow up, and obviously it wouldn't hurt her. It'd probably put some soot on her face, and
Yeah.
she'd be like, oh, what an insult to me. I'm going to kill the Straw Hats and the Fishmen. This was way bigger than I was expecting it to be.
The thing
Bomb-wise?
is, go ahead, Joe.
Bomb-wise or like plot-wise? Because bomb-wise, this thing is fucking huge.
Both. Like, holy shit.
Like, what I like about this I think I've seen people say that the Tamatame box was overhyped. The thing is, there's 2 times in this arc where, like, things are genuinely hopeless. Actually, 3, right? So it's a 3 beat. We fix it with Big Father. Big Father gets taken down. We get here, the bomb barely saved us. Like, they were fucked. Like, they were dead to rights before this bomb exploded. And then the last time is when they're on the Sunny, right before we get to the Katakuri fight. So I really like how, like, Big Mom's crew has them cornered, and they have to escape by the, like, skin of their teeth 3 times. And you might say that's excessive and they're getting too lucky, but I mean, the whole fucking story is Luffy being lucky. Like, there's a factor of luck to all of the Straw Hats' adventures, you know?
Yeah.
Fantastic cover page.
Yeah.
Speaking of the number 56, I think that's on Luffy's chest, if I'm not mistaken.
All of them.
Oh, yeah,
Sounds alright.
they're the Mugiwara 56, right. They're all...
Yeah.
I think Brooke looks phenomenal here.
Oh, yeah.
And Sanji
like
wearing a raid suit just feels wrong, but there he is.
I love that Luffy just has a tiger.
Yeah. I like how Usopp has the judge helmet on,
Oh, yeah.
and I think his nose is in the helmet, like through a metal thing.
Yeah, I don't think there's a hole. I think that I think the helmet is just yeah. Frankie looks like a villain, but like, come on, Brooke, dude, flaming hair, yes, so into it. Okay, I keep losing my fucking mouse. What's cool here though is Strussen's kind of badass here to save like the entire town down below and pretty much everyone in it. He turns the entire falling whole cake chateau into cake.
Damn.
But also, like, he knocks himself out from here. But hey, this child groomer's got some moves. He's pretty alright. Beige leaving, like, he parts ways from the Straw Hats and then leaves the Straw Hats that away sign, which is just such a good gag.
Yeah.
Is that really necessary? Also, Castle Tank. That's a new move. Like,
Pretty badass.
that's how he runs in Pyre Warriors, of course.
No.
Yeah, of
real?
course, bro. You gotta do it.
Wedding cake.
Oda, I still love Pudding even after I found out about her true nature. So you've chosen the path of thorns, witness the tragic fate of man.
Yeah.
I relate, bro. Like, despite everything, I think Pudding's just such a good character. And here it happens. Big Mom is kind of losing it. Everything's going wrong. She's getting pissed, and she goes in an episode. And this episode's going to last for a while. She is not going to stamp out of this anytime soon. And you're going to get to see Big Mom. I don't want to say, like, is this Big Mom at her strongest when she's hungry? I would say no. It's her maybe at her most dangerous.
Yeah.
It's probably at her most dangerous, but like, I don't think we've ever seen her like truly, honestly go out of her way to hurt someone as bad as she can.
Yeah,
Like she's very casual with her awesome power.
Yeah, she's held back. Like she doesn't go all out this arc as far as we've gotten to. And it's kind of terrifying because like Paris like, "Mom, we got another cake," and she's like, "If you're lying to me, you little shit, I will murder you." And this starts the side plot of we gotta go bake a pretty cake. Like we're in fucking Lazy Town. Oh god, yes. Pudding shows up. She's gonna help with the cake situation. I like how Pudding, being a chocolatier, becomes very relevant, and how Chiffon, being good at chiffon cakes, also becomes relevant. So they get to work together, and cute stuff happens between the two of them as they go on.
What's that Capone beige goop?
That's Nitro, the goop.
Okay.
He's Nitro. He's a friend. He's always been around Pudding. I like this cover page too. I just think it looks nice. These are the characters that rank the highest in this popularity poll at this time. So I'm happy Corazon made it. Crocodile still making it. That's pretty impressive. Marco making it. I don't know. I don't know if he deserves top 10, but you know.
Also, Shanks.
Interesting. Yeah, Shanks, of course. Interesting things in this page for Joe, but just for Joe.
Yeah.
Oh my god. King Bomb's like, "I have a tree girlfriend, I gotta keep fighting for her sake," and then he gets fucking chopped in half.
And is this some like Mihawk shit where like the wind of her swinging her blade cut him?
Yeah, so this is the same attack, and Luffy says it, that the giants do in not Fishman Island, in Little Garden. It's even called the same thing, Ikoku Sovereignty. And it's just a giant slashing shockwave. Yeah, it's on some Mihawk shit. So Big Mom's also the world's strongest swordsman, so that's cool.
Dude, Zoro.
Look how far this goes. This goes like through a mountain and goes to the coast. This move's insane. And like, yeah, like we were saying, like this is just her. She has no finesse in this move. She's just throwing out attacks.
Oh yeah.
Dude, Nami being like, "Hey, come on, you have to fight for your girlfriend. Run, King Bomb." And then they're like, "This is messed up." She's like slave driving him. I also really like how the plot device of Nami being able to scare the homies into submission doesn't work if Big Mom's around. I think that's really important. What does kind of work, and what I like about this, is that she's able to manipulate Zeus, right? And it's kind of cute how she like feeds him like little thunderballs. In the beginning of the arc, Zeus is trying to calm down Big Mom from a hunger pang. And then she won't listen to him. And now Big Mom in a hunger pang can't get Zeus to listen to her. Like they're both very individual. Now, I have no doubts that if Big Mom wanted to, she could one-shot kill Zeus. She could just be like, "All right, I'm taking back my soul." But I think Zeus is such a powerful homie where she just doesn't like She doesn't go for the nuclear solution right off the bat. Like,
Yeah.
Zeus has been her companion since childhood, so she's not just gonna kill him. Uh,
God damn.
Prometheus gets some action where he just turns into a sun and nukes the Straw Hats.
This is one of those panels where I'm like, you don't beat Big Mom. I'm sorry. Like, come on.
And the fact that, like, Luffy looks back and Big Mom is, like, shadowed out in the fire walking towards them. Oda's doing some very good visual horror in broad daylight in this arc.
Dude, like, Big Mom is one of the most, like, she's horrifying. Holy shit. Like, it's been a long time since I've seen a writer, like, so effectively sell how powerful a villain is.
And I think Oda can go all out like this because we're not doing her fight right now, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he can, like, show her as an unstoppable force and nerf it with her mental state. I think that's also really important that, like, Big Mom's own, like, the only thing that can stop Big Mom is her own mind, you know?
Yeah.
So I got these panels because, again, we talk about how good the Big Mom pirates are at mobilizing and taking care of the situation. I think this is a really good example. Everyone's mobilized in the mirror world so that they can hop to position exactly where they want. It's cool that, like, okay, we abused Brule, but, like, they would know how to use her even better. So, like, this is trivial for them to use Brule to just travel around and jump right into the Straw Hat ship. And it's cool how this is Katakuri's idea where it's like, just in case they escape Big Mom and make it to the ship, I'm literally right here. Like, he is so competent. Before you even get to, like, learn a lot about his character or see him fight, he's showing himself to be such a competent villain. Definitely the most competent in One Piece so far. Like,
Oh, yeah.
even Doflamingo, like, lets his pride and his sadism get in his own way. Katakuri's all business.
It's because he's been vigilant since birth. He ain't never laid on his back. Not even once. I swear. Promise.
That's the fucking truth, man. Not once.
Not once, baby.
I can't wait.
Do you think Katakuri can see the future in other areas that aren't just directly around him?
No.
Okay.
I think that would be beyond his scope. And nothing, I don't think he's shown anything that implies he can. Because later, Nami uses, like, the Zeus tempo, and Katakuri assumes it's Big Mom because he can see it from a distance, but he can't, like, actually see.
Yeah.
He doesn't have, like, the Skypiea little girl omniscience.
Yeah.
Worth noting that, like, Luffy points out that Zeus and Prometheus are worse than Logias because if you hockey strike them, they're not like a Logia form. They'll just form back. They're a soul. They're a spirit.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Because, like, Logia, like, if Ace turns into fire, the fire is his body.
Yeah.
And, like, the hockey lets you hit his body. But,
Yeah.
like, this isn't a body. Like, this is the effects of the ability. I don't know.
Very cool. I like how he forms back into his cute son form. He's like, son! So, dude, Nami, oh man. Nami's great this arc. I don't want to hear anyone say anything. Nami's been, like, here's the thing about the Straw Hats, okay? They're not all the forefront fighters. Half of the crew is support, but they're really good at being support. Oh, I love how the thunder clouds look. This looks like such a fierce attack.
Dude, like, this is one of those things where Oda's showing his mastery of, like, motion in a still image because I can feel the anticipation to that lightning strike. I can feel it curl out of the clouds. It gets to the apex of that little curve and then just...
The way the clouds curve into the actual curve of the lightning bolt just looks really nice. Also,
So
we talked
good.
with the King Bomb burning to death panel, and this one, like, Oda's lighting has also been on point this arc.
Oh,
with
yeah.
us, even in like just Sanji scenes where he's sad and like flicking the cigarette, like the lighting looks really good in those pages.
Oh, yeah, Nami's doing it, man.
Brooke and Chopper get there first in the submarine, and of course, Perispar's already there. And Brooke and Chopper have, like, they cannot be Perisparos. I'd say he's like the fourth strongest person in the crew, right below the Sweet Commanders, you know? So,
Yeah.
like, but they don't give a fuck. This is our Sunny. We're gonna fight. They're so cool this
Dude,
arc.
Chopper and Brooke been doing good this arc.
And not every Straw Hat that came to this arc leaves as a better human being.
Yeah.
Dude, I really like Chiffon fighting for Beige helping the Straw Hats here, where Beige is just like, okay, so they saved like, you got to say thanks, we should get going, we don't owe them anything. But Chiffon's saying, like, saying thanks is not enough. The real test of character comes when that savior is in trouble. Like, when the savior needs help, like if you really appreciate them, you go help them. So
Yeah.
Chiffon gets points in my book. Good character for how like almost insignificant she seems at first.
Dude, yeah, her and Lola are they're the best.
Dude,
Mhm.
this like they nuke Big Mom into a crater. Is she gonna climb out? No, she's going to walk through the earth like it's butter.
Walking the earth.
Dude, and then Jinbei drops like the line, when Big Mom is having hunger pangs, she will never be stopped. This is akin to land, sea, and on air, always bet Kaido. Like, this is just a fact of life. These guys just win.
Dude, like when the four emperors were first introduced, I'm like, obviously they're strong and Luffy's not ready to fight him yet, but like when people told Luffy he was out of his mind thinking he could fight a four emperor, I'm like, you guys don't understand my boy Luffy, how strong he is. But then like now when we're here and seeing Big Mom in the flesh, I'm like, no, I'm sorry, dude. Like,
Hold on, give my boy another arc or two. Just give him a
no,
sec.
dude, look at her.
Big Mom
She's
got
so
hands.
strong.
Big Mom got hands. Shit. Pudding, my darling, and then like Pudding's talking shit, and as soon as she sees Sanji, she's just like, bleh.
Frothing at the mouth.
I like the heart third eye.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
It's
That's a good
cute.
touch.
Like she's Sanji's after Sanji, you know. Like I
Yeah.
think that's pretty cute. They're made for each other. These two awful people.
I know,
I
I
love
love them.
It's like Pudding's just going on and off with like being mean and kind to Sanji, and like Chiffon's like, "What are you saying? No, we're trying to get his help." Just I like it. It's funny.
So good.
And then the Straw Hats are like, "Oh my god!" like Sanji actually has someone who loves her, but then also like she's as bad as Sanji. It's just funny.
Like watching your friend date a crazy person.
Yeah, honestly. But your friend's also crazy, so it is what it is. Yo, Brook's so hot.
No, look at him.
Katakuri is even like, you're pretty powerful against these Peacekeeper skeleton. It's kind of a brag. It's kind of like is respect, but also a diss, because it's like, I haven't fought yet. Like, you could take out the jobbers, but they're exhausting you, and I'm just sitting here.
Yeah. It's like, wow, you very easily beat our weakest soldiers. Congrats.
This is really neat. So there's a cover page with Shanks. He's got Hanafuda cards. These are the 4 Emperors set, or the 4 Lights set. You know what's neat? I know how to play Koi Koi because of Yakuza, and it's my favorite way to make money if I'm in... So, okay. Side story. In Yakuza, there's usually 2 casinos. One where you play Western games, and one where you play, like, Japanese games that none of us have ever heard of. If I'm doing something in that casino, I always play Koi Koi. So I just thought this was neat, because these are good cards in Koi Koi.
People... Oda can't put shit in here that people won't notice. Like, there's so many people who read One Piece.
Crocodile picture gets me every time. Like, what?
Oh, yeah, dude,
Like-
the crocodile in the newspaper, I cannot believe that shit.
That's the shit that gets me, is when like a character's reading a magazine or a newspaper and people will look at like 2 molecules of ink on the page and be like, oh my god, that's
That's
this
the thing.
character.
Oda drew Crocodile's face with such a like. It's just a shitty, sketchy shadow of a face.
It's
and
like
people are
3
"That
lines.
Oh man.
Oh my god, the One Piece was on Ace's freckles the entire time.
Dude. So Luffy is cresting the corner. He's getting to the ship, and Katakuri the God is just like, immediately go back to the mirror world. Within mere seconds, you'll all be lying at his feet. Oh my god.
God
just-
damn.
That's just cool for so many reasons. Like what? Like in any other series, like or even in One Piece, there would be villains where it's like, I don't care if my subordinates get taken out; they're not important. If they can't stand up to Luffy, they don't matter. But Katakuri's like, no, you're my family and my soldiers. Get out of here. I can handle it.
Yeah.
You're useless right now, to be honest. Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh, dude. Speaking of lighting, Pedro blowing himself up. Jesus Christ. I don't.
and like, I don't know, man.
Come on, say
It's
it.
Pell all over again, man.
You think so?
Well, see, here's the thing. They grieve a lot longer than they normally would.
That's the thing.
So maybe
right?
he is dead.
To build up to this moment a little bit, when Pedro was a child, he was not allowed to sail with Roger. We know that Cat and Dog were, and I think in that same trip, I assume that's when Pedro's like, "Can I come with? I want to help you out." And then he had to watch from a distance as Roger's legacy dies out or moves on in its own weird way. And now he's like, there's this concept of like a dawn of this world where one day the sun's gonna set on a better world, and I want to do what I can to protect those who are gonna bring the dawn. Like, this guy is like, this guy, this is what's cool about Pedro. He's one of the rare characters who's just like, oh, no, wait, like, Luffy's just not a guy who's gonna be king of the pirate. He's a world-changing guy, and Luffy doesn't even know this. But Pedro can see it, and I think that makes him pretty cool to have that level of foresight. And this is also the third beat of, like, Straw Hats escaping impossible situations, but this one's even better than the Tamate box, because it takes Pedro's quote-unquote sacrifice. I guess we'll see.
He gets like and remember, like at the beginning when we first get introduced to him, he has portions of his life taken away from him.
Yeah. That
already.
And that's why, like, maybe Oda was maybe more alright with potentially fully killing this character, because it's like he doesn't have much long to live. And
Yeah.
Oda's kind of a softie. He likes his characters more than we do, and we really like his characters, so. It almost feels like, though, we're getting a Carrot flashback story in real time, I'm just saying. Carrot fits into the crew really well this arc, and yeah, here we get some of, like, some of the Pedro flashback.
I'm gonna have to just accept Karen, aren't I?
Accept her into your life. Dude, so there's a shadow in the smoke, and Nami's like, Pedro, and it's fucking Paris.
How? What a like stomach drop.
I know, this is a great little scene. And meanwhile, Big Mom's eating the Sunny, which, by the way, is made of the strongest wood known to man, the Adam Tree. Which, by the way, when we got to Elbaf, there was a giant tree. And we know that there's an Adam Tree and an Eve Tree. And I think we've covered in the story that the Eve Tree is the one that gives sunlight to Fishman Island, right?
Yeah, I think
it's
so.
The one that's in Marijo's, but the branches go all the way to the sea. So people theorize that other big tree is the Adam Tree, the one in Elbaf.
Well, all I'm saying is we're going to get to the final arc of One Piece. Pedro's going to show up and be like, what's up, guys?
I would...
The bomb blew up so hard it went forward in time to where you are now.
Yeah.
Oh, Luffy, I got to see you become king of the pirates.
I use time hockey. It's a other kind you haven't heard of.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, I just noticed that the shark submerge is, like, hanging on by a rope here. That seems really dangerous. I feel like it would just be slamming on the side of the ship nonstop.
Oda never forgets anything.
It's cool, right? It's been a while since he's done a Kuda burst.
He never forgets anything.
I love it. Here's why Pedro's death might be real. Like, even Jinbei is like, he sacrificed herself, and he's saying we need to go on, and he's giving, like, a nice little speech to the crew. But also, like, isn't this nice? Like, Jinbei already has such a good role in the crew. Like, he's the more, he feels a role similar to Zoro, but I feel like they're distinctly different. Where Zoro comes off as crass, and, like, I think Zoro knows what it's like to be a man, but Jinbei knows what it's like to be a pirate. And I feel like that's where maybe they change a little bit, or they...
Because most of the Straw Hat crews are... Like, in the grand scheme of being a pirate, they're all still pretty newbies.
Yeah.
And Jinbei has probably been in a situation almost exactly like this before and has had to feel these emotions. And, you know, they're all like, oh, well, we're sad, so we have to grieve. And he's like, no, like, if you're really sad about his sacrifice...
Live
for it, you know?
Also, people were like, man, Nami hasn't used her log pose in a while. Oda doesn't fucking forget. Here we go.
I know, she's still wearing it, bitch.
Yeah, she's using it right. I didn't even notice she was using it right here.
Shit.
Yeah, it's just a little tiny panel.
Let's go.
Oh my... Dude, just endless amounts of cool Big Mom... And people will retrospectively say that Big Mom didn't seem that scary this arc. Just because she didn't, like, get to punch Luffy's face in or something. Like, this bitch is horrifying.
I'll say she's been terrifying this arc.
She's walking through the sea in a candy slug, and Peros being, like, her little shoulder friend is great. Oh, yeah. Dude.
They have the wedding cake, Mom. Keep going. And Peros like, please, for the love of God, finish the cake.
This is just adorable. Like, Pudding can't even be in the carpet with Sanji. Whew. We're going up on 2 hours here, but I think we're reaching the end right here. Because we're in the mirror world. We did it. Dude, can we talk about this? Look at how fucking cool this panel looks.
God, even his design is just like...
There's so much leg to this man. I love it. Yeah, he's like 15 feet tall. This is such a weight class matchup, like mismatch. But it's
We
just
were
cool
playing
because
Pirate Warriors
Oh.
when it first came out. And I did category for the first time. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Luffy beat this man?
yeah, they're like, I don't know if they're two scale Empire Warriors, but like Katakuri and Big Mom and Kaido are and Whitebeard are drastically taller than the other characters.
Yeah.
Dude, Luffy's to his knee. Like he's fighting a dude who he reaches his knee. I really like here because clearly like he's doing a kick and then reading into the future to see the dodge, and Luffy's just not fast enough. But and this isn't the first time Oda does this in this fight. When Luffy gets hit and his hair spikes, you just feel so much of that impact that he does the hard shading on the leg where he draws it really sketchily. Oh, just
Like with a character whose visual language is so often very round shapes,
yeah.
it's just like having that sharpness in there sells like how uncommonly hard he got hit.
And maybe that's like a cool way that Luffy, like Katakuri, also stands up from Luffy. Katakuri is very like angular and spiky,
Yeah.
and hardline. When Luffy, especially when he's using a lot of his attacks, are circular. That's pretty neat. And this is where we leave off. They do a clash, and Katakuri's is even bigger, and he finishes with, "Is that how you do your elephant gun?"
Which should terrify anybody reading this.
Just
like
first try, just completely outclassing Luffy.
God, this freaked me out because I'm like, oh my god, like he's Luffy but stronger. But it also got me so excited for what this means for Luffy because, hear me out. Here's what this page reminded me of. It brought my mind back to Zoro fighting Mr. One in Alabasta.
Dude, people in the Reddit threads were saying the same thing, actually.
Oh, I'm so glad because, like, in that fight, he has reached an insurmountable, he has reached an obstacle where he literally cannot win this fight as he currently is. He will have to get better. He will have to learn to cut metal if he is going to win. He's going to have to get better over the course
Mid-fight.
of fighting this fight to win it. And that's the same with Luffy. We have found someone who is just frankly Luffy but stronger. And later on in the fight, even Luffy admits it to himself. Like, he's like, I'm just going to have to get better at using observation hockey if I'm going to beat him.
It's so cool, man. And it's, it's like One Piece, and some people could take this as a criticism. Like, as someone who likes battle manga, I don't really consider One Piece a battle manga. It's more of an adventure manga. Because when you get down to it, like, Luffy, like in a battle manga staple, is Naruto has to learn the Rasengan, or we have to practice this Nen type in Hunter x Hunter, or learn a new technique in Jujutsu Kaisen or something. Like there's manga that really care about making consistent technique learning, right? But in One Piece, let's be honest, people learn moves like Pokemon. You get experience after the fight, and next arc you have new attacks. But this is like, Luffy has never ran into that wall where he has to learn the technique mid-fight. And crazy how it took 800 chapters, but I'm glad that it is Katakuri. Like, and Joe's the one who pointed this out to me, my dumbass. It's a mirror match in the mirror world. Oh.
And that's the thing that, well, it's not the thing that sets One Piece apart, but it's a thing where, like, you look at the actual end goal of a lot of shonen protagonists, and it's either the end goal of a lot of shonen protagonists is either be the strongest X or beat Y person or just get stronger if you're Goku. But Luffy, his goal is just be king of the pirates, and of course, getting stronger, beating this person, blah blah blah. Like he might have to do those things to be king of the pirates, but in this, like, as the narrative, we're not watching him train and get stronger to beat certain people because that's not what matters,
Yeah. Oda doesn't really stress over the how. Like, he makes it believable that Luffy can win a fight, but he doesn't stress on, like, how he learned the techniques or, like, even, like, the technical aspects of One Piece combat. It's really more about the spectacle and the emotion, So, yeah. And, I mean, you've gotten into this fight, and we're going to talk about it next time. We covered a good chunk of chapters there. We covered two of the acts, the wedding and the forest escape, which is like 10-ish chapters, which honestly, if there could be, I think a point where this arc is stagnant, it's where the Straw Hats are running from Big Mom before this fight, which we covered in a couple of. I guess we covered it really fast because I guess technically not that much is happening. But I feel like there's enough. It's setting up what's going to happen for the remainder of that arc while they're running away from Big Mom. Like it's moving, putting Chiffon and Sanji to where they need to be to do their climax, and it's moving Luffy into his climax, and it's showing us how scary Big Mom really is, etc., etc. So
Yeah.
and it's only 10 chapters to set up all that work, so even then you could say it's pretty stagnant, but I think it's still very engaging portion of the story. Woo. We will try to knock this entire arc out next talk.
Let's go.
I believe this is chapter like 780, and the arc, I don't know if I should say what chapter the arc ends in. I don't know if Bradley minds, but it's not that many chapters.
Yeah, I got the feeling like we're on the cusp.
It's very early 900s, so we will be talking about maybe 20 chapters, and most of it is fighting. So that should work out. Cool. All right, that's good for today. Do we have Joe? Shit, fuck. We're gonna show Bradley cover pages, but we always forget.
Oh, I'll bring it up right now.
Oh,
Do it, Joe.
Yeah.
Wait.
Let's see. We're
All right, we're
it's
back.
A6.
Let's do these volumes.
it's a pretty solid one right here.
It's cool
It's pretty
because
stuff.
it's introducing Chiffon because we've had so many covers with Sanji and the Germa kids and Big Mom. This is the other party of the story that is relevant. It's the
Why does that
space
douche
pirate.
get the center back?
Yeah,
Gotti.
that's Gotti. Gotti.
He
I don't
had
know.
a bazooka.
I could have put someone more important there.
He's one of Beige's like commanders.
Yeah, but he doesn't talk as much as Lelo guy.
That's what I'm saying. Like they could have swapped their places
Probably.
or something. I don't know.
Aesthetically, it probably just looked better there with his big.
Yeah,
cannon.
I guess.
Oda likes putting the bigger characters in the back. Next.
True.
Yeah. All right, and then this one is. Oh fuck.
Oh, you
Aw,
fucked us.
fuck.
That's one of my faves.
Oh, that's so good.
Hold on.
Let's go.
Yo,
That is a fucking
This
fire.
is fucking hype.
Yeah. What the fuck is this orange motherfucker in the bottom right?
That's
Oven.
that's Oven. Yeah.
It's all black hair.
No, you're a fool. You believed.
I believed what I saw with my own eyes.
Strusen rocking the pink. You got.
Oh, Katakuri got red hair. Huh?
Yeah, Katakuri's
I
got like a reddish hair.
I can vibe with it. I can vibe with
I
it.
really like his tattoo colors.
Yeah, Oda did not fuck up Katakuri's colors. So
Yeah,
like,
nah, he did good.
there's other characters where Oda would have made Katakuri's leather clothes like gold or some shit.
Yeah, I'm like, come on.
Peros, I think he's supposed to be a scary like Willy Wonka. I think that's good.
I think it works.
I really like Peros' design.
Yeah.
He more and more as I read One Piece, I'm like, God, Peros is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be, but he is.
Juice Girl has fucking white hair.
Yeah, Smoothie
Yeah.
out
What
there.
the fuck?
And Big Mom's pink as fuck.
Struzen,
Struzen, yeah.
super pink.
He's Senor Pink.
I like how this cover is like an inverse of this cover. Not an inverse, but like this is the assassination group, and then this is the Big Mom family.
I think it's
Does
interesting
Big
that-
Mom's- does Big Mom's sword like extend out of her hat?
Yes.
Yes.
Like she can take it off and then like activate it and it goes.
Yeah, I think that's how it works.
That's fucking sick.
I like Zeus.
Just a handle into it, and it comes out.
You think so? But then what's the
think-
point?
I
Like the hat wouldn't add anything if it's not like a weird hat transforming sword thing.
I don't know.
I think it's weird. It's interesting that Capote is here when she doesn't do anything. She's the oldest daughter, but she doesn't really.
Yeah.
She does like one thing, as I recall.
Too.
Who?
Peckham's.
Yeah, Peckham's and dude, fucking egg guy. So
See,
good.
If you show a non-One Piece person this chapter cover, they're gonna be like, all right, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, they're gonna say One Piece is stupid because it's too colorful. Oh, dude, I see Gillette over here. She's a baddie.
Yo, let's go.
Gillette is right behind Oven's head.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the other cover?
The other one is 85. I'm not sure if we showed this one off.
Oh, dude, this one looks pretty as hell.
Oh, you know what? We did see this one. Brooke looks fucking sick.
Yeah.
But you have not broken into 88 yet. In fact, you just stopped right as we are about to
You're
go
right.
into that volume. 89 is
89
fucking
is the
hype.
best cover in the series.
Yeah.
I know that one. I know, yeah, that one I know by heart. All right,
Hmm.
that wraps it up. We had no real closing thoughts. I mean, what did you think of these two sections of the story? I think we talked about like they're chaotic, stuff's moving on, even the escape portion is doing a bunch of setup work, etc. Joe, you didn't talk much. You close us out here. What do you got?
I I think when I was so this is around the time where I was reading this part and I realized that I was in the most completed arc in One Piece at the time.
The most recently
So
completed.
yeah, the most recently completed arc.
Yeah, and then you get that
Um,
dread of like One Piece is too long, and then you're catching up, and it's like, wait, no, stop.
yeah, and like it was interesting because I remember I watched the Super Eye Patch video on One Piece before I ever actually started watching One Piece.
Hmm.
And he talks about it, and I remember going like, is it really just that arc just so good? Um, and then coming into it and thinking back to that, I was like, man, Oda is like still on fire. Uh, and it's crazy to me to think that this manga is 20 years old now, and like it still is like feels energetic
To be
when I
20
read it.
years old and still be delivering some of your best work, some might say the best work, um, I think that's incredibly impressive. It's so hard to keep a story fresh and fun and not to burn out. Like, and Oda did a lot of like Oda took a lot of risks to get us to this point, because Dressrosa, we talked about how risky of an arc that was, and Punk Hazard was a huge setup arc for these two arcs, and then Wano. So like, Oda took a lot of risks to get us to this point where he gets to execute on kind of these long running things that he set up. So very
Yeah,
cool.
just also like Whole Cake Island is like my second favorite arc. I think Ines Lobby and Whole Cake like battle each other out constantly in my head.
But we can have that
Um,
discussion when we finish the arc next time.
yeah, but man, it's I think it's like one of those arcs that like I vividly when I was reading it could see the whole thing play out in my head like animation wise, um, without having had to watching the anime. Like everything just flowed so good that it just makes me excited to keep going for it.
Yeah, the Katakuri Luffy fight in the anime has some good filler too, because they extend the fight, but also like the parts where they're adapting look really good. All right, I think that's good for today. I kept y'all long, but we did a lot, so that's how it goes. All right,
All right,
bye bye.
bye.